There's no such a John Kratos.
I'm so serious. His name is John Kratos.
There's no
Accountability
for your actions. So why, like, it's the lack of accountability, because we have to hold ourselves accountable when we're person to person, because there are real repercussions when you're with a real person. But when you're not, who cares?
Sometimes I punch down on Twitter because I think it's funny.
Okay, see me fine. Obviously have good credit, John. Am I wrong?
I mean, I do. I'm John.
I'm Alfonso.
I'm Darren. Welcome to the Scat Cast. We don't know either. All right, boys. I've been watching The Boys.
Yes, sir.
You guys been watching The Boys?
The Boys?
Los Chicos.
The Boys?
Yeah. Kiara and I have been watching The Boys too.
Yeah, they binge watched like all 3-4 seasons in like 2 or 3 weeks. That is impressive.
2 weekends.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
3 weekends.
basically, yeah. I honestly, so before I started rewatching it with Kiara again recently, I forgot how good The Boys is. Like, I always knew I liked it, but I kind of forgot how good it was until I was like going back through it.
So much of, like, when I watched like over your shoulder when you guys were watching, I forgot how much happened in each fucking season.
Yeah.
Like, I was confusing shit for like season 2 with season. I'm like, that person's here already. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. And it absolutely does get better with every season, I feel like. But season 3, like, that's where stuff starts like picking up a lot.
Oh, hell
like, you can tell like season 3 is like really good. Obviously we're not caught up with season 4 yet or whatever, but I mean, for the most part, like, everything has been like really fucking great with how it's all been set up.
Yeah.
Is season 4?
Well, I mean, just the show in general, but yeah, season 4 so far is like to a slower start, but I mean, it's still good. You know, it's The Boys.
It's still good, but I definitely think it's the weakest season so far. 4?
Yeah, I mean, it could be going somewhere cool, but
Could be.
as of right now,
It could have a
I'd
really
agree.
cool finale, but I don't know. After watching episode 6, I was like very peeved.
No, like obviously I haven't watched that far yet
Yeah.
with Yara, but
You're only 2 episodes behind, but yeah, no, like,
yeah.
I will say, just from my experience, I'm caught up to where Darren's caught up. It's a very much a build-up season, and I feel like that might be why it's weaker in some aspects, because while everything does happen, nothing particular is happening. Like, you put in perspective, season 1, Stillwell, the CEO of Vought, dies. That is a big, like, the next season, there is a big thing happening afterwards, because now you just lost a major player in the storyline. Yeah. The second season, he dates a Nazi. That's enough said. Like, that
Yeah.
that was...
Yeah.
You found out that they were made. Superheroes aren't real. They weren't born. They were artificial.
Yeah.
Third season, you start getting into the politics. You find out who the head popper is. And then the actual big bad wolf fucking... What's his name? Edgar, I think?
Yeah, Stan Edgar.
Stan
Yeah.
Edgar. He gets out of the picture.
Yeah.
Toppled.
Yeah, exactly. Like, literally, you're watching this corporation. Like, you're watching these scrappy-ass 4 toxic friends take down this fucking multi-billion-dollar company for 3 seasons. And right now in season 4, like, who's in charge? The superheroes?
Yeah.
What's going on? Stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think they're building up to something cool.
Yeah.
And I like what they're doing on the superhero side of things. Like, I'm actually super intrigued with like what's going on with the Seven and Homelander, how he's setting up to. I mean, let's be honest, he's gonna take over the fucking country.
He's gonna try to.
I'm really hyped for that, and I think they're handling that part of the show really well.
They
but the
are.
actual boys themselves, this like CIA covert group, I've been really disappointed with them this season.
They've dropped the ball a couple of times.
They're bad. Like my problem with season 4 isn't the build up. I like build up. The entire show has been build up so far, and like it gets me more and more hyped for each season.
Yeah.
My problem with this season is that there feels like there's a ton of it's a phenomenon called idiot plot, which is where everybody has to be dumbed down so the plot can progress.
I understand that. Yeah.
And see, episode 6 pissed me off because it gets to the point where the idiot plot starts affecting the Seven. You know?
Okay.
And just other superheroes involved in that episode. Like, everybody is just so fucking stupid because they are. Like, they just have to be so the plot can progress.
I can see that argument being made, because even when I watched it, some scenes did feel like, did that just happen? You didn't want to do anything else besides what you just did?
What was their plan?
Spoilers
on
for the
episode
show,
4?
by the way. Like,
What was their plan for
clear.
season 4, episode 4? It was like Firecracker and Ezekiel are doing the truth bomb thing in front of the Starlight House for children, or whatever the fuck. Their plan was to go blackmail her with her previous relations with a 15-year-old and post it on Twitter. She posted on Twitter. They have no backup. They're just,
She just goes, okay.
Yeah, I guess we'll just fuck off for 2 hours then and walk around and go through her fucking closet or something. Like, that was your plan. It's live streamed right in front of you. You couldn't have cut the power. You couldn't have, like, disrupted the televised event with something. you couldn't have like thrown something in there.
You
to
know
make
the
them look
crazy
bad?
thing is that it's literally Starlight's power to disrupt electricity too.
Yes,
Wouldn't they just been
and they're right across the street.
So she decides to beat the shit out of her instead.
But that was the worst thing she could have done.
Like
Well,
I understand in the situation that she's impulsive because
Yes.
of what's going on.
That is
it's a terrible thing
okay,
that she did.
Okay,
but
that is that is the fucking diabolical what Firecracker did. That is fucking evil. Like that actually made that made me mad too. Don't get me wrong.
it is.
Like that's fucking
But
evil.
she
To just put
literally
somebody's
just
public
made
health records on
a
there.
whole deal with the president
Yes.
earlier to say, hey, if you
President
do this, singer
nominee. Yeah.
Well, yeah, president-elect nominee. But basically, her whole plan was, hey, I'm gonna bring this down if I use my branding. She literally just threw up her like branding. She threw up like her credibility. She threw all that out the window. And I was just like, you just said hours ago, we are locked the fuck in. I'm gonna need you to hold your own. And then you're the one who like goes back on your word and you fuck up the plan. That just seemed a little like, because she's always been presented as like, I want to say level-headed, but when she's been mad, she's been rightfully mad, and this was a rightfully angry moment. But I was like,
keep going. Sorry.
even when Huey was like, "Don't kill A-Train," she has enough restraint to like.
I don't even think she could kill Adrian.
Yeah, exactly. She had enough restraint in her
Powers
head
are
to
so
like.
fucking useless.
Yeah.
I mean, her. And
That is a
Firecracker are
situation where her
the same.
powers would have had a use though.
Yes.
Like that was
And
probably
she
the
does
best
not
situation
use
for her to
it.
use her powers.
God. Now that you, God.
I didn't even think about that till right now.
I was
either.
just
That's so
thinking. I
fucked.
was just thinking about Butcher like cutting the fucking network cables or something. But no, you're right. She could literally use her powers to just shut down all the cameras and the spotlights
Yes,
and everything.
and she's right across the street.
Oh, God, that makes me even more angry.
They set up across the street like the fucking frowning friends.
Yeah,
And
this is what I was thinking. I pulled up in that shit.
God.
They literally were the frowning friends. They just
Yes.
spread it negativity.
Episode 6, I facepalmed. I'm like, he's regressing.
Yeah, he really did.
He regressed so hard.
Yeah, we made so much progress with him, John. John is his name. That's crazy. But like, John regressed pretty fucking.
All the goats.
He
are named John.
relapsed.
It's true. Don't forget it.
Master Chief, Homelander.
Master Chief's name is John.
Yeah.
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 Kratos.
There's no such a John Kratos.
I'm so serious. His name is John Kratos.
Where does that come from?
The official like his name, if you look at it, it's the Greek translation for the name John.
No, you're bullshit.
His name is John Kratos.
No.
I am dead. If you look it up on Google, I promise you, it will say like from
John
the fucking game director. His name is John Kratos.
John.
Anytime I hear someone say the name John, I fucking like jump and look around like it's not the most common name on the planet. Like I'll be sitting there on the couch watching
Giannis
TV.
is the Greek word for John.
I promise you, his name is John Kratos.
The name isn't based in lore, according to gamingbible.com.
Okay, great, thanks. Do y'all know anything about God of War?
I know that
He killed
his
gods.
dad killed his family, so then he ended up killing his god family.
Oh, well, I'm reading this Reddit post. According to Reddit user Aggravating Heat, Kratos confirmed, or no, PlayStation confirmed Kratos' first name is John.
That's so funny. No, but okay, so for God of War, right? So eventually they end up doing like the Norse mythology shit and all
Yeah.
that. That's when they change like the show, like game head, whatever, the game director for the games and everything. It's like a different person writing the plots. Originally, what they were gonna do is they were gonna have him kill the entire pantheon, right? Then he's gonna like go to like another pantheon. I think it was like Egypt or something.
Ooh, that's actually really cool.
And then eventually, what he was gonna do was he was gonna go find Jesus and become one of the 3 wise men.
That's awesome.
So
That's how they're gonna like finish the series. They're gonna have him like go to the birth of Jesus Christ as one of the 3 wise men
You'll be the next.
and jump to Christianity.
who does he fight at that point? He's already.
That would have been the end.
Oh,
Like that would have been like the end of pantheons or whatever, and him going to like a monotheistic.
because he killed
religion.
everyone else.
Yeah, basically. I really hope the next one is Egyptian. Whenever they do get
I
to that.
really want to be Egyptian.
Because I just think a God of War game set in like a desert would be cool.
I am really down for Egypt because I fucking loved Rick Riordan's books about Egypt. The fucking Carter and Kane Chronicles.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, it was Kane Chronicles, not Carter and Kane. The Kane Chronicles. That shit was fire. Regardless, let's go back to the boys because we need to talk about Homelander's political ideologies.
Mm-hmm.
I think he doesn't like Democrats. Apparently,
he called someone a libtard.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
apparently he's been calling people libtards. He's been throwing out the L word. He's been dropping L bombs.
I don't think he likes Republicans either.
I feel like he gets along more with Republicans than with.
They're like more his crowd because he's literally like in an all-American getup.
Yeah,
But I don't think he gives a shit about religion like whatsoever.
he thinks himself to be a god. So I think
he uses religion to his advantage, but he doesn't really follow it. I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, he sees himself as a god. I think it would be like blasphemous for him to like
Blasphemous for him to be like, there is no what me believe in Jesus.
Yeah, like, I think he would like take offense to that if you like legitimately asked him that.
You know what? Now that I think about it, before we get into these politics, you ever think like, even though he thinks himself a god, he was made in the lab. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how like arrogant you can be when like, you could have been nothing. You know?
I mean,
You see what I'm saying? Like, it could all be taken away, hypothetically. If it was given to you, it could be taken away. He never had it.
He was born with it.
I don't know, because I think he's still like, I understand why he feels that way. I don't think he's like necessarily,
Well, he just
like,
straight up in the new season. He just straight up views Supes as better than people.
yeah. I don't know, anytime I see someone who's like, if they had powers, they would be more of like a Homelander type than like a Superman type.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me. I don't know how the fuck that's like anything that even like
Need
crossed your
therapy,
mind.
dog.
Yeah, like legitimately. Like there's people that legitimately say that. Like, yeah, I would totally be like a Homelander, dude.
What does that even mean? Just kill people for no fucking reason?
I guess.
Like, I guess they're saying they know they have an unchecked ego if you gave them a lot of power.
I know that's what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of people view Homelander as like a quote unquote realistic version of that archetype, though.
Yeah, it's like people who relate to Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
And
Like, what the
Homelander.
fuck?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like with the Superman stuff, like, why would you not want to be like as good as possible?
Like Homelander wants people to love him,
Yeah,
but like
it would be so much easier if he was actually a Superman type
exactly,
of guy. Yeah,
he would actually get that love
yeah.
and respect, everything he wants.
But because he was abused, he just doesn't have the personality
Hurt
type to be that
people,
kind of
hurt
guy.
people.
But
He was a product, not a person.
I was listening to
Yeah.
a medical podcast, and they were talking about a psychological study that was done, and actually it shows that people who were bullied were never bullied themselves. They're just fucking assholes. Like the literature supports that most bullies were never bullied themselves. They're just jerks.
Well,
So-
that's crazy.
I
It's like
watched
the
that-
opposite of what you normally hear.
Exactly. So hurt people don't hurt people. That's not what studies support.
assholes are just assholes naturally. More
According to certain psychological literature, yes.
certain how like broad.
I even looked it up myself. They were just talking about it on a podcast. I just thought that was interesting to me. Where like a majority of bullies were just never bullied. They're just fucking awful. Like,
Is
Well,
there
that-
something predisposed in them that makes them more likely to be a
Well,
bully?
do they count bullies in like their parents bullying them, or like bullied by other children, people lesser
assume
than
both.
them or equal to? Because I would understand if it was like if bullied children never were bullied by other kids.
I don't think their parents would abuse them or anything. Their parents probably just set a bad example.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same thing I was going to. Like, not maybe parents weren't abusing them, but the parents weren't good people, so that
Yeah.
child ended up not being a good person.
But it doesn't mean
so-
they're necessarily hurt. They just have a bad role model. That'll be my guess.
It's a weird ebb and flow because I know a couple people that come from bad housing. It's really how you interpret the situation. Either you can become your parents or you can become the opposite of them.
Yeah.
So put it in perspective, like my dad wasn't the greatest person, so I became the opposite of him. I know people, I won't like say names, but I know people who their parents were kind of narcissistic, egotistical, and like they carry those traits with them either consciously or subconsciously. So I can understand as a child, you're mirroring the only world you've known before you were put in a public place. So in that aspect, I wouldn't say you were bullied, but you definitely weren't. I want to say normal because normal is not a real term. Like when people say common sense isn't common sense. There's no fucking thing as common sense. Like nothing is common to anybody. But like, what would you guys define as like the best standard? I would say it like this: whenever the kindergarten teacher said "don't harm others," they were not paying attention. That shit went in their ear and out the other. Because that's probably as standard as you can get. Is like a kindergarten teacher telling you not to put your hands on other kids, respect people. Because everyone got that at some point.
What was drilled into my head and what stuck with me, I don't know if it was drilled into me or it stuck with me. It's just like the treat others how you want to be treated kind of thing.
Yes.
Because I mean, like, I don't know. There were times in elementary school where I've said something mean about somebody. Like, I don't know. I called them fat or something. And then they said something mean to me, like, oh, you look weird. I don't know. But
It
I
hurt
don't
your
know. That hurt my
feelings.
feelings. And I'm like, man, I probably hurt someone else's feelings. That sucks. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's not that fucking hard to figure out.
Yeah. Some people just don't have that same level of empathy, I guess.
Awareness.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it can probably be taught, but it's just harder for some people to learn it.
I just
than
didn't have to be
others.
taught, though. I just, like, I don't know. It just makes sense to me.
Yeah. I don't, because to me, it just makes sense as like a natural, like, I guess, survival thing that you understand, like, this hurts me, which probably hurts another person in my species, which, you know, same type of thing, like community, like whatever. I feel like that would just be like an evolutionary thing to not want to hurt people like you.
Well, generally, most people don't want to hurt others, but of course, there are bad eggs or bad apples in every bunch.
I don't know, because I feel like it's extremely common, even among people that do have that like empathy to them. Like even like among now like cyberbullying and stuff like that, like people get bullied all the time. Like why do you think people go online and just like want to say really hurtful shit when they would get like anonymous?
I think why I don't know personally, but my best reasoning for for specifically for cyberbullying, because I think in-person bullying has fallen off quite a bit since the internet's been introduced, because most people won't talk shit in person. Most people are scared to talk shit in person.
Yep.
So I would say half the reason people talking shit on the internet because they were bullied actually in person. So it feels good because it feels good to punch down. And when you're on the internet, you're anonymous. No one can really hurt you. You can like I'll put like how Mike Tyson put it. Because of the internet, people have gotten so comfortable talking shit and without backing it up. I'm paraphrasing what he said. Basically, he was saying because you don't get hit, you just talk shit. And that's what a lot of people do. They just talk shit because there are no repercussions. You can say whatever the fuck you want, whatever the fuck you want. And while I have a fucking Golden Freddy, Five Nights at Freddy's, some suit shit logo as my avatar, and my name is just Dick Butter 52. Okay. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I could be as unserious as possible while saying some of the most heinous, evil shit imaginable. And who's gonna do anything about it?
Yeah, but
it's like a certain freedom to be evil.
If you still had that level of like empathy or whatever, I feel like you wouldn't do that.
I think when you give people the chance to do bad things, I'll say it like this: you ever just like have like the term like cheat day, like when people like say I'm on the diet and cheat day.
Cheat meal.
Yeah.
It's an essence of that. It's because like, what's the harm? Really, what it comes down to it, because like think about it: if you like are empathetic, you're like, well, of course this could be bad, but they shouldn't be taking it seriously because it's a stranger. Like, would you really take a stranger's opinion to heart?
No.
But on the internet, some people do. So at that point, you can kind of, disassociate yourself, you the person, because you said it to everybody. So obviously, everyone can either take it good or take it bad, but there shouldn't be any risk involved because it's a stranger. There's absolutely no one with no credibility saying just random shit. So of course you'll say whatever the fuck you want. Who's going to believe you? Who's not going to believe you? There's no, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not liability. There's no accountability for your actions. So why, like, it's the lack of accountability, because we have to hold ourselves accountable when we're person to person, because there are real repercussions when you're with a real person. But when you're not, who cares?
Sometimes I punch down on Twitter because I think it's funny.
Okay, see me fine.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like, I mean, you wouldn't consider that as being like an asshole or whatever, but technically speaking, that would be considered like bullying.
I mean, I don't go out of my way to do that. I wait until somebody has a really fucking dumb take, and then I tell them to go get laid, or I call them a virgin, or I call them the R word.
Damn.
Or I call them fat. I don't know. It's funny.
See, he's a remember.
But I won't do it unprovoked. I won't like at a random celebrity be like, "Oh, that Botox you got is so fucking ugly. You're a whore." Like, I would never do that. What the fuck?
He lies in waits.
Yeah, apparently.
But I would almost argue most people on the internet probably lie in wait. You have to. That's why most people usually only speak up. Like when you attack something they like. That's why like the whole canceling or like getting on someone's ass. When you say I don't like this, that's when all the people just come. Oh,
and I'm like, yeah, cheese. You're wrong. You're fat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, I love cheese on toast. That's delicious.
I once saw a post on Instagram of someone putting rice in a waffle maker, and then like it was like a crispy rice waffle, and it looked really good. I was like, that looks so good. I wonder what people think about this. And then like somebody in the comments was like really angry about it, and she called it like appropriating Asian culture, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's always food. One.
It's food.
Always one.
Yeah. And they weren't even Asian. Like, it's so ridiculous. So of course I called them the R word. I mean, like.
Okay, no. That's some Homelander shit. Of course, I had to do what had to be done.
I had to do it. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, that's Jesus so ridiculous. You cannot get away with that. That is so stupid. That is actually stupid.
I will agree that was a pretty brain dead take that they took.
Like,
yeah.
Because you're right. It is just food. Like, it's really
it was someone putting rice in a waffle maker and putting raw fish on top of it, and it looked like a good breakfast. I don't know. I want to try that.
Even though I'm not Asian, I'm speaking on behalf of the Asian community. You need to stop right now.
Meanwhile, an Asian person calls them the R word. It's so stupid.
I think that's probably a lot of it too. Is a lot of people want to speak on behalf of other people a lot of the time.
And I don't want to say white people, but usually it's white people. And
it's almost always white.
And it's
people.
like white savior is something I've been thrown up a lot.
Apologetic
white guilt, guilt is another thing. But it's like, when you do that, all you're doing is saying that they are not strong enough to stand on their own without your help. Like they, you know that fucking that military meme.
Not that it's relevant, but the person I called an R word and accused that person of appropriating Asian culture, whatever the fuck she said. She was black, not white. Surprisingly,
black women are the second biggest. Right behind white women, black women.
Not that it matters. I was just
saying not that it matters. But I'm like, on the internet perspective, I've seen a lot of black women get angry about shit, but white girls have that shit on lock.
For sure.
Yeah,
on lock.
Yeah.
But
which, I mean, that being said, like, as a white person,
okay, John, talking.
I understand what people wanting to like help in certain aspects. Because,
do you though?
Because I mean, I can acknowledge that white people are more privileged in a lot of ways than other people are.
That's fair. Okay,
so I mean, a lot of people.
What are you doing about it?
But I would say a lot of people feel like they want to help that, but the way they do it is they like push on other people. Like, oh, I'm gonna help you. Let me help you. I'm gonna help you. You don't have a choice in the matter. I'm gonna help you. That type of thing. When people don't want it.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it.
Wait. He's saying, or like, what are you saying?
I don't have a problem with white people taking a stance where it's like, I don't know, like I see where their intentions are. You know, like they're not trying to come off as offensive, or like I'm trying to police you kind of thing. They're not trying to do that. Like I don't know. I'm not bothered by it because I get the intention. I can see why someone would be infuriated by it though. I've had somebody accidentally. I wouldn't call it racist or like a racist remark, but it was very uncomfortable. No, it wasn't prejudice. It's like she had good
tone
intentions.
deaf kind of tone deaf.
Like, it's just weird. I don't know how to describe.
What was it?
Probably tone deaf. It was at work, right?
Yeah.
And then it was some employee that worked in the grocery section. Meanwhile, all of us are in the pharmacy kind of thing. And then I mean, like my boss, my lead tech, me. I think someone else there was Asian.
Yeah.
And then maybe there was like another white person working in there. And then. So the employee from the grocery comes over, and then she starts asking everybody like where they're from, or like she stops over every like hour and comes by to ask for something. She's like, by the way, where are you from? She talked to like a different person every time, and then every single time they'd be like, oh, I'm from Vietnam. Oh, my parents are from Mexico. She'd be like, oh my god, that's so amazing. Thank you for being here. And then
you lost me after that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I mean,
and then she did it to me. She was like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I was born here. But my mom's Filipino. She's like, wow, you should thank her for coming here. I'm like, I will.
I think she's just very
She was, like,
happy
in
to be
her 40s probably.
American.
You know how you had the conversation with like patriotism earlier?
Yeah.
What if she's just like a super patriot? Because then
I think she's just very like happy that you're American. I guess I don't know. It's very odd.
I mean, I get she was not trying to.
I mean, it's
offend
you
us.
can very
That's
tell
like-
that her heart is in the right place. There, it's just a very weird thing to
odd.
say.
You
You
sound like
you would. I don't know. It's odd. Yeah, you're
You
right.
found like the least offensive case of that ever. Like that lady was genuinely just like, wow.
A lot of the times when I think about it, like Darren, did you ever end up watching Get Out?
No,
Do you know the premise of the movie?
you told me it was an analogy for.
It's basically just white liberalism.
Oh, yes,
like
yes, okay,
like
that's what it was.
that perspective of the movie and everything. So like, there's without spoiling what the movie actually is about. Like looking at it, you see a lot of scenes of them going like
Black people are so cool.
Yeah, they look like white dudes going up to black dudes like, man, just so you know, I would have voted Obama a third term if I could.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, it's a lot of glazing.
like wow, is it really true what they say about black guys' dicks? It's like just random uncomfortable conversations like that. A lot of the times, it's like really the vibe.
You know, I did hear
that
that a
comes
lot
across.
in school too.
What?
Where it's like a white or black or Hispanic person. They were going like, "Oh, can you help me with this? Like, you gotta know it. You're Asian."
Oh, that type of thing.
like,
Yeah.
I heard that all the time.
Wow, that's a different type. I don't even like. That's a different type of like stereotype. Because I've of course I've never got that.
It's
shit.
bad in the
Stereotypes
other
are
way.
negative, but that one's like,
Yeah, it's like a weird
Yeah.
like you're informative. Like the same thing with like I guess like white people being like, you obviously have good credit, John. Am I wrong?
I mean, I do. But I mean, like, it's one of those things because it's like they're all harmful though. Because like when it comes
Even-
down to it,
I think it's harmful because you have Asian kids who like just aren't that bright,
yeah,
and then it feels like there's a standard put on them.
yeah,
Oh,
because
That's where
they're
it becomes
held to a
very-
higher
that
standard just
becomes-
because
that
they're
becomes
Asian.
Very toxic very quick because then
Yeah.
they get competitive
Yeah.
in a league where they can't compete.
Yeah.
I'm actually really curious now. We brought like Asian ones and black ones. What are like white people like? What are some white people things you feel like just don't apply to you that you feel like what? Because I feel like white people are so general. Like, do you have anything that's like when
White people are
say
so
you're white?
Y'all are just so average.
But like that works because like okay, I'll just put in perspective. For black people, it's big dicks, good at sports, rap. Asian people,
that's crazy.
Asian people, anything academic, y'all good, but you guys kind of suck at driving. It's kind of the general thing with Asians. What do white people have?
I don't know. I'm the white guy. What are y'all's stereotypes for white people?
Bland ass food.
But yeah, okay, I guess it's really just food. Like you guys like
racism,
lack,
whether it's accidental or purposeful.
Okay.
Anti-vax for some reason. I don't know. I just
That's a
associate
white
that with
thing?
white moms. Yeah.
I think it's absolutely more white people than anything else for anti-vax.
Well, I feel like only because you guys are like the majority population. I feel like that.
Yeah,
runs.
that's probably why. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but.
I was gonna say like I feel like really when I think of white people, it's just your food. Like that's probably like the biggest insult to
Can't
white
jump.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. Even when we're talking about Yakub, that was one of the things they literally had to point out in the fucking origin story was that they like raw, unseasoned food. They had to establish that. So that is a stereotype that is perpetuated for fucking
innate.
at least decades at this point.
Yes.
It's so insane how Southern cuisine is so good, and then you look at the rest of white people, and it's like,
Fucking
what
Britain.
happened?
Well, they lived with a whole bunch of
Besides Italians,
Yeah,
they're
they lived with
different,
a whole bunch of cultured people. Of course, they're gonna learn some
Oh,
shit.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Exactly. Like, look, that's why the South is so good with food because you had people that actually knew how to make food. Because they were making food for them.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you had those people
That's
making
probably a
food.
large part
They
of it,
had
actually, yeah.
they had those people making food for you for like 300 years, 150 years, or whatever.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, all right, write that shit down.
You got
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You got motherfuckers in Louisiana with like the Cajun food and shit like
Yeah,
that.
because even Cajun, that's a really broad term. Cajun means like the French, the natives, and the black people. There's like different like sects of that. And like so Cajun and Creole and some other term, I forgot what it's called. Like that's all like encompassing. And I think really, besides the Mediterranean Italians and like maybe a couple French people every now and then, white people really weren't cooking up some. Like I've seen Kay's Kitchen.
Yeah, case cooking. Yeah,
My girlfriend keeps sending me those videos on Instagram. People like British people specifically like boiling chicken.
Why?
It's the grossest fucking thing ever. And they pull it
Why?
out and it looks like a fucking newborn's ass. Like, dude, there's no texture on that chicken.
There's no flavor.
It's so smooth. And of course there's no flavor. It's fucking smooth. There's no seasoning on it.
You boiled out everything.
You boiled out the juices that make chicken good. It's just water. It's full of water.
They
It's so
replaced it
gross.
with water.
I've you ever seen those white people like make some food or whatever? And it's like they put like a little bit of salt on it, but they don't want to put any pepper because they want people to choose how much spice they put on it and shit like
Pepper's
that.
not even spicy, bro.
I know.
Pepper has a taste. It is not spicy.
No,
You killing me, John.
like that's just crazy to me.
Dude, I don't know if I could ever live in Britain. I don't know if I could ever live in rural like Britain. I think I'd kill myself. If
Britain just seems like a gloomy place to live in.
it's
always
always
raining.
constant. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like right there on a fucking island.
It's
in a
cold.
area.
It's rainy. It's
Yeah.
fucking. Everything's all stone.
I don't want to
Everything's
get
too-
stabbed.
Yeah,
that too.
there's no ventilation over there.
They live in flats.
Yeah,
There's no suburbans. There's no road. There's no like highways.
everyone talks with that voice.
That voice.
They
That
spell
accent.
shit weird.
Weird, fucking
yeah, they have you and
color.
everything.
Yeah.
motherfuckers eat tea.
Like tea is great. I'm a tea guy. I fucking love tea.
I
But
mean,
like,
I
would you
tea,
really want that tea at the cost of getting an entire country addicted to opium?
Yes.
but as a healthcare professional, it's an insane
I
thing to
feel
say,
like
I'm not
that's
gonna lie.
crazy thing. He's a fucking 180s. I love caring about people.
I love opium so much.
But tea, don't get in the way of me and my tea.
Back to politics. Let's talk about Homelander and
It's not politics.
anyways, watching this recent presidential debate had got me thinking, like, do you think Homelander actually would have had a chance of getting some votes if he was like the third person at that debate?
Just because of his age, yes.
That
Just because
was
of his
fast.
age, yes.
I was fast as fuck.
Doesn't matter what the fuck Homelander says. Just because of his age, he would definitely get some votes.
Yeah, I could probably.
If
see that.
Homelander was a third party, he would absolutely give the other two some competition.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree with Homelander whatsoever. But what I am saying is that 100%, like Darren said, age-wise, I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's season 1 Homelander, where he's a little bit more in the closet with his weirdness.
I
I
can see that.
I
And he
think a
hasn't
lot of
outed
people would
himself
agree
as
with
a
that.
fucking psychopath.
Yeah, because I mean, people fucking love Homelander.
yeah,
In universe, people fucking love Homelander. I 100% feel like he would probably win the election if he ran.
okay.
Even if it was as a third party, if it was in this election, I feel like he would win.
He could fly and shoot lasers. That's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want Superman to run the country?
Yeah. He could like laser the words "God bless America" into the ground or some shit from up above in the sky.
Dude, Putin would not fuck with us.
True.
Xi Jinping would not fuck with us.
Absolutely
Our
not.
president can fly and shoot lasers and is also bulletproof.
It's a one-man army.
At that point, they might as well nuke themselves. Like, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, just get it over with.
Yeah, I
Probably,
mean,
you know,
Have you guys read the Superman Red Sun comic or seen the movie?
he's just.
I know vaguely about it, but I don't really. I've never read it.
So Superman becomes he becomes the czar or the what the fuck did they call?
It's basically like, what if
Lenin,
Superman
or-
landed in communist Russia instead of America?
Well, yeah, hence the name
Yeah.
Red Sun. He takes over whatever Stalin's place. What do they call the leader in Russia? Like what Stalin was?
It's not a czar. It's
President?
the-
Like
Stalin wasn't the president.
It's not a czar, is it really?
It's not a czar. I don't think. It's something else.
no, Tsar was the royalty.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what it was. Dictator?
I mean, like that's what he is, but like not what they called him. No one's gonna be like, oh, premier, the premier of Russia. Is that
Okay.
what they call him?
I guess.
Maybe, I don't know.
Anyway, he would be like, wait. Stalin continued to use Koba as his party name in the Planet of the Apes. Anyway,
Koba.
yeah, but yeah, whatever. Premier, Tsar, whatever the fuck you call it. Superman takes over. Like at first, he's Stalin's right hand man,
Okay.
and then he sees what a fucked up person Stalin is.
Yeah.
Like Superman is introduced to labor camps, and it fucking horrifies him.
Oh.
So he kills Stalin because
Dang.
he's disgusted that such cruelty can exist in the country he loves so much.
Yes.
So he frees everybody in the labor camp, kills Stalin, and becomes like the premier dictator, czar, whatever the fuck you want to call him, of Russia. And then after that, he ends all wars.
Yeah.
He destroys the DMZ, pushes the Americans out of Korea, liberates China. I don't know. He basically creates peace on Earth because everybody's so scared of him, and nobody wants to retaliate against Russia anymore.
So the world would just be better if he landed in Soviet Russia instead.
The whole point of Superman Red Sun, from what I saw the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't read the
I
comic.
saw the movie
but,
too. I just don't remember it as well.
The whole thing was you should let humans govern themselves. It's not your role to be a god and decide things for them. Because there was a point where Superman, he used Brainiac's tech. And Brainiac was like an AI in this one.
Yeah.
So he has Brainiac tell him the most efficient ways to do things, how to do all that, so he can like control people. He uses Brainiac like mind control technology to make people subservient to him around in his circle who are scared of him. Like he'll do questionable things like I don't know. People don't like being ruled with an iron fist, even if it's in their own best interest.
Yeah.
So he would brainwash them
Yeah.
and make them serve him so they could carry out his orders, kind of thing.
Oh.
Even if they were questionable, as like a moral standpoint.
Yeah.
Also, I love this universe's version of Batman.
That's what it was. Because
Batman grew up in the gulag that Superman freed, but Batman was just kind of angry he didn't show up soon enough. He was like, if you're so perfect, if you can hear, why didn't you hear our pleas sooner? Because Thomas and Martha Wayne die in the gulag. Obviously, their name isn't Thomas and Martha; those are very American names. But
Yeah.
Batman's parents die in the gulag right before Superman shows up, and he resents Superman. And then Batman is like the capitalist terrorist, and he's like Superman's Joker or Lex Luthor in his universe. He's just like a terrorist that blows shit up and wants to terrorize Soviet Russia.
Now, my only
All
thing
for
is,
revenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
with that is like, could you really blame him for not getting there quick enough? He got there when he got. I don't know. That's just a little weird.
Yeah.
That the
pretty
the
petty.
mental gymnastics. Like you could have said, it's like, bro, so many people just got freed, and you're really worried. Like, why did you do it like an hour early? It's like.
You couldn't have done it before my parents died.
Yeah.
It's like that's a little selfish. What about all the other parents that actually got
It's
to
just a
see
very
their
like
kids?
bitter thing for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a different like.
You got to have Batman try and fight Superman though.
Yeah.
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 I think it's always better when they work together
I
than like
agree.
fight each other.
I find it really wholesome when they're best friends. I've never
Yeah.
really enjoyed the Batman versus Superman trope.
Mm.
I only think it's really been done good 2 times. Injustice, and that's because Superman is not Superman in that story.
Yeah.
He's someone else. And then there's also The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
I like that confrontation between Bruce and Superman.
Yeah.
Because at that point, Superman is what he was to Stalin, but with the U.S. president.
Mm.
He's the U.S. president's right-hand man. And he's not a superhero anymore. Superman had to destroy the Justice League because the president said so. And then when Green Arrow retaliated, he tore off his arm.
Damn.
There was some accident leading to him losing his arm.
Mm.
But yeah, Batman wanted to make a statement to put Superman in his place, basically. That's the only time I've thought they've done that rivalry well. But yeah, I always like it, like in the Justice League cartoon where they're best friends and they never give up on each other.
Yeah, a lot of people do like versus battles and shit. Like, oh, who would win in a fight between this person and this person? A lot of the times, I just like think about it. I'm like, who would be friends between like different shows, comics, movies, like shit like that.
I feel like universally, every speedster ever would just be friends with each other because no one else would understand what they go through but them. Like in a weird like click thing. Like I feel like you can name any speedster besides like the dude who jerked off that one guy.
Reverse Flash.
Reverse Flash. Besides him, all of them like Sonic, Flash, fucking Quicksilver. I feel like they all would have some semblance because they all kind of have like the same lighthearted, quirky personality. Dash, they all would fuck with each other. Because like they're the only ones that experience time different. Like that is such a weird, like unique condition.
Weird. Speedsters all have a really similar personality.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like you kind of have to, like, given what they do.
Yeah.
You know,
it just makes sense for them to be the uppity, like cheerful,
high energy,
enthusiastic ones.
Yeah.
There's very few that aren't.
Imagine just a depressed speedster.
There's A-Train.
But he still portrays himself as being
as a happy.
That's his character for the corporate.
Yeah, but even still, that's what the world knows him as. So, like, think about it, in world, if that's like Wally or fucking Flash or Sonic, that's only what we're seeing is the happy side of him. So yeah, I actually also even Tracer from Overwatch, like, they're all just happy, cheerful, fucking peppy people.
Yeah,
so I feel like they all get along with each other pretty well.
Talking about A-Train, I feel like they'd all probably wouldn't like A-Train.
Yeah, he's the only.
I
fake
think they
one.
would feel. No. I actually think they would like him. They would have a therapy session with him.
It would be after he like.
I think they would. I think they would sit down and be like, A-Train, you're on the path to redemption. We're very proud. It would be like an AA meeting.
Yeah.
Like, you did good. You did good. You did good this season.
Speedsters Anonymous.
You know what? We're proud to call you a hero now.
I see it a lot with like Goku and Superman too. Like people are always.
They
like,
would totally get along.
I think they would definitely disagree to an extent.
I don't think they would like.
What would they
have blood for
disagree
blood
on
each other.
though? Like Goku just wants to fight people, and Superman's like no, and so that's it. That's like the only ever.
That's
like,
the thing is
argument.
Goku's not like heroic in the traditional sense. He would absolutely screw people over if it meant he gets a better fight. Superman would not fuck with that. He would want to stop something as fast as possible.
Dark Side or whatever, like a sensu being or something. Be like,
Goku
right.
absolutely would. Yes, 100%.
I always imagine that Superman would like play along with Goku and be like, I don't know, yeah, like next round kind of thing.
Yeah. But like, I mean, there's times in Dragon Ball where he will like be winning.
I can only think of Cell
he will be winning against someone, and then he will heal them up to 100% because he wants to fight them at their full power.
Yeah.
Or in that sense, he wants his son to fight someone at full power instead of himself.
Yeah.
He says, no, I can't win this. Anyways, my son's going to fight you. Get healed. That's crazy.
Love you, sport.
Superman would not fuck with that at all.
No.
Superman would appreciate the sportsmanship.
He's like, well, you know, your heart's in the right place.
Yeah, I think Superman would totally appreciate the sportsmanship. I don't know. I don't see Superman beefing with people.
What are you doing? That's Doomsday. Get that beat away from him.
I see him being like very annoyed. I guess.
I don't see him beefing with people.
He wouldn't hate him, but he'd get like very annoyed and he like confronts him about it. He'd be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
It's like the drunk friend in the party that keeps wanting to do more. So I was like, dude, stop. Like, just put it down. Put the damn beat down.
A lot of people, they like misinterpret it. They say Goku's like another like Superman type.
He's not.
I guess.
No.
He's definitely not.
I don't know. I just think they would get along. I don't know.
Like Superman represents like unyielding good.
Truth,
whereas
justice, in the American way.
Yeah, whereas Goku just represents unyielding determination. Like really is what he is. Like they're similar but different.
Unstoppable object, one is an immovable force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Goku can be selfish and it works the same way. Like you have like bad versions of Goku that still quote unquote work under the same context. Right. Superman, I feel like if you have like a bad Superman, it's like a bad version of the character. Like it doesn't work as well.
I've never liked angry Superman, like that archetype.
Yeah, like
the only time it works is Injustice, and I think that's because it's the first time it was done, and that makes it cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
This might sound like a weird mix-up, but I think Plankton and Lex Luthor actually have a pretty fun time together.
Dude, they would vibe hard.
They would.
So hard.
They absolutely would. They're very similar characters.
Yeah. Both have like an inferiority complex. Yeah. Some red dude.
They're both mad scientists who are bald with an inferiority complex.
Who hate their like peers.
Who hate their rivals so much they spend their entire life devoting to just tearing their image down.
Yes.
Who in some versions have also been their like ex-friends or whatever
yes.
too. So yeah, like they're very similar. A lot more than you would expect.
You remember that scene with fucking Puss in Boots with the little cockroaches on the fucking
Jack
whoa. I could just see them doing shit together.
Yeah.
That's hilarious actually. Oh my god.
Yeah, I would actually love to see someone like draw that or something. That sounds great.
Who else do we got?
Homelander and Joker.
I don't know. I don't think they'd fuck with each other.
Who's the other guy that has like multiple like who talks to himself? Like that mirror scene. That mirror scene was like from another movie. Like you have to do this.
You're talking about Green Goblin?
Green Goblin and Homelander might actually get along pretty well. I can see that.
I could see that.
I don't think so. Because
I see that a lot more than I see Joker.
I actually don't see Norman Osborn. Because he's Norman Osborn. He's the CEO of a giant, like, he's Oscorp. It's like their
Homelander would
bot.
ask him for
Homelander would not fuck with
He would
that.
ask him for advice.
He's
asked,
he's literally that universe's version of Stan Edgar. He would not fuck with Norman Osborn.
I could totally see Norman
he fucks
Osborn.
With, what's the black girl's? I'm forgetting her like superhero name. That's all.
Sage?
But he acknowledges that his intelligence is lacking. So I feel like if he saw him as like a mentor or some kind of like, because I mean he does, even though he says he doesn't need people, he does like having human connection. We all know he likes having human connection. So I feel like having the Green Goblin like this schizo-pilled CEO would actually probably make him feel a lot more seen. Like knowing that someone else has mental issues, like to where he's like, "Oh, so you talk to that guy in the mirror too?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Especially because
I don't think Norman Osborn is down to earth like that to where he would have a pep talk with someone. He's
Well,
a fucking asshole.
No, so like the Willem Dafoe version of the Green Goblin is like specifically like he tried to get Peter to join him to rule New York City. Like him specifically, like the Willem Dafoe version specifically, would mesh very well with Homelander.
Yes, I can see
They have
that.
very similar goals. They're like, oh no, we're superpowered. We're the ones who should rule the city. And
Yes, that was
like
actually his whole speech at the end of that. Like,
well, and that's also different though because in that movie, Oscorp, like the CE, like or the shareholders or whatever of Oscorp, literally out him out. Like they kick him out of his own company, kind of thing. And that's why he goes off the rails and becomes the Goblin. He gets pissed off because the entire thing he's worked for, his entire life is destroyed. So he might as well destroy it himself. That's the motivation of Green Goblin in Spider-Man 1.
And Homelander's motivation that his entire life was a lie and that he was used as a puppet. Now.
He's basically the Green Goblin in that extra step past where Homelander would be if he doesn't feel loved anymore.
Kind of. They both kind of felt shunned and more like burned by the people they once trusted.
Goblin and Homelander, yes. Norman Osborn and Homelander, no.
I mean, they're a package deal.
It's a split personality thing. They're not the same person.
I think I kind of interpreted them as being the same person. No Way Home changed it like retroactively, but originally like it's pretty much implied that they're just the same
you can
person.
tell at the end of Spider-Man 1 he's got some split personality thing going on because like he has a realization that it's Peter and he's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You see the shock on his face. You know? He's like, what have I done kind of thing. He snaps back.
I don't know, like in an alternate universe where he's like a Vought scientist or something instead where he ends up like buying like a majority share of Vought or something like that, I think they would totally be allies and get along like just fine without much issue.
No.
Optimus Prime.
Definitely more than Joker. I can say that.
Optimus Prime and BMO, what y'all thinking?
BMO?
Optimus Prime and BMO.
That'd be cute.
I think that'd be actually pretty fun. I think that he would love BMO. He would probably be like, BMO.
Hello, little Game Boy.
I will protect you with my life. Take this Allspark and throw it into my chest.
BMO just fucking transforming.
What would he transform into a person? Because he's already a game console. He's already got his alt mode.
Yeah, more or less. I'm trying to. I mean, those are cute.
I always love to imagine Batman and Iron Man in the same room.
I think
they would hate each other.
I know they would hate each other.
They would fucking despise each other.
They would love each other. I just love imagining them both just bickering at each other.
They both like start doing like sneak dissing.
They're both rich personalities. They're both very intelligent people, but they're very different personalities.
I think it doesn't even matter which version it is. None of them would get along like at all.
No, never. Because they're both smart in different ways. So they both like would feel like their way is the right way, regardless of what the other person thought.
But Batman is like super secluded, super introverted, super like methodical in how he does things. Meanwhile, I see Tony Stark as more of like a risk taker. He's a very
super
like
impulsive.
Party boy.
Yeah. That and Iron Man kills people too.
Yeah.
Batman doesn't.
Yeah, but
can I leave like Iron Man would kill a person and be like blaster?
Have you ever seen Iron Man 1?
I don't remember it.
He's fucking bombing terrorists like all over the place in that movie.
Oh yeah, Batman doesn't go international.
Yeah,
well, actually, Zack Snyder's version of Batman kills terrorists.
He does.
Okay, then
he's the only one I could maybe see getting along with Iron Man, but even then, I don't think he fully would because he still sold weapons and shit like that. I can't read
Zack Snyder's Batman, dude. I don't get who he is.
He's such an odd version of the character. He brands criminals with a bat symbol so that they get murdered in prison. His
personality flip-flops every scene I see him in. I can't read him.
Sometimes they try to make him like goofy.
Yes.
I don't know.
What's your superpower? I'm rich.
I mean, he's right.
But in the other scene, he's brandishing his like terrorists or whatever the fuck. He's shooting people. He's like very stoic. And it's like fuck Superman. It's like, well, I don't know, like you can't read that guy.
I mean, I will defend Batman vs Superman more than most people will.
Okay.
The movie's so bad. Oh my god.
Like, I remember when I watched that movie originally. I watched it for my birthday when it came out.
Aw,
I was so disappointed when I saw that shit like as it came out. Going back now, I respect that movie a lot more, just like as its own thing. But like Batman specifically is such an odd like take on the character in that thing. Like there's a lot of stuff I do like about him, and there's a lot of stuff I do not like at all. Like, I mean, his design is probably one of my favorite live action Batman designs.
Symbol.
I think
It's
like
so fat, it's big. It's like its whole chest.
exactly. It's just fucking cool.
No, it's not. It looks so ugly. And he's ugly too. He's got like a bat beard going. Come on, no,
Oh, God.
shave your fucking face, Batman. Oh my god.
You are a professional superhero. Act it. But
It's not a full beard. It's like you could tell he like missed a day shaving. Like,
Yeah.
dude, you're out patrolling the streets of Gotham. Look your best. What are you doing? Get a hold of yourself. Get a grip.
you're drunk.
Superman made him lose his grip.
Okay. Rolling back into the politics side of things, what would you guys do if you were president? What would your policies be? Because we talked about this a bit earlier, so I'm just kind of curious. Like, if you had the power of the chief of state, what would be the first thing you try to get past? Commander-in-Chief, yeah, oopsie. What would be the first thing you would try to get past? Or what would be like your opening statement? Like, if you vote for me, we will get this done, and that's the thing you're trying to get done.
More affordable healthcare.
Nice.
I think that'll be my priority.
What kind of?
I don't know too much about economics and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. You don't have to know too much because obviously Trump and Biden don't know too much. But
I mean, that's the whole point of having a presidential cabinet. You have people who do know what they're talking about under you, telling you stuff.
Yeah. Probably for me, education reform.
yeah, we
That's a good
talked
place to
about
start, too.
Yeah, because I think once you start helping with education reform, everything else can follow.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I 100% agree because you kind of need to. Because the thing about it, like, I forgot if you said it or John said, someone said it, time only moves forward. So as a president,
It's the only constant.
Yeah, it's the only
That's what I
constant.
said,
You kind of always have to look forward when you're the commander in chief because you only have 4 years to make a lasting impact. So I think the first thing I would do is hit education because that means the future generations will either replace my spot or make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Type shit. That's how I would be thinking. You always have to think forward. But I feel like a lot of them just think very much in the now. And it's like, no, you can't. Well, especially with a country, you can't think about the country today. You have to think about the country 100 years from now.
Yeah.
What have you done to make sure that its longevity is secured?
Yeah.
Type shit. And I think education is one of the best ways to do that.
And you see
Not
that a
saying
lot of
healthcare
the
isn't, though.
time with like policies and stuff like that people make. Like especially like with environmental policies and shit like that.
No one cares.
Well, it's not just you'll see a lot of the times their policies involve shit and it's like, oh, by 2035, 2040, shit like that, we'll have blank done. And,
those, yeah.
And a lot of people, looking at that, they're like, okay, but you didn't accomplish that during your presidency. The person who came after you completely did a 180 on that anyways. So in the end, that doesn't accomplish anything.
You basically wasted our time and money.
If you were doing something and the person immediately following you is doing the exact opposite, then it doesn't matter in the long run, which sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, like being forward thinking, most people don't really do that. They think in the exact moment that what's going on right now. They kind of ignore growing pains a lot of the time too that come with stuff. They're like, oh, this growing pain is something we need to fix right now instead of actually getting to the point that we're growing into.
Yeah.
And shit like that too.
And a lot of the times they don't really address the root of the problem. They just they look at the mushroom but don't focus on the mycelium fungus.
I don't know what the fuck you just said.
Yeah, what
Anyway.
the fuck are you talking
The
about?
mushrooms are the when you see mold. The mold is the flower. The actual mold, like the roots, are inside the bread. Like the deeper rooted cause is underneath what you're actually seeing.
The bread's the money, like the economy. I see what's going on here.
What I see often with Congress is that they'll do one thing and it creates 3 other problems.
Yeah.
You don't have people thinking these things out.
Yeah, because people don't foresee what is actually going to come as a result of whatever they make. Yeah.
Don't they have guys? Don't they have like think chambers or some shit? You think they would?
Wow, it's almost like there's a room of over fucking 200 people sitting there talking about this at a time. That's insane.
And no one ever said, hey, maybe if we took away this, then maybe this would happen. No, you're dumb. Shut up.
You guys think getting rid of lobbying would be a good idea?
Yes, or at the very, very... Actually, yes, get rid of it completely will be the best. That would be like the black and white solution. The nuanced solution is stop corporations from doing it. You have to be a private citizen. Even then, a private citizen, like the CEO of a company is a private citizen, so they can still just funnel money into it. But at least... Because I know there's a limit on people. There's not a limit on corporations. Yep. So at the very least, that would be like a soft lock. So Bezos can give like $1 million to whoever, but that's it. He can only give $1 million within like a window of time. Amazon can give whoever the fuck, whatever the fuck they want. So there's a big loophole in that I kind of want to... That crack needs to get sealed up. Because like I don't want to be owned by Mickey Mouse and fucking Bezos. Personally. I don't want Gates in there either, sticking his little fingers on my shit.
I don't know. I feel like you're always going to have loopholes with that, though.
That's why we need to have...
Because, I mean, what's stopping them from distributing that to different people and then they each give $1 million or something like that instead?
Look, I've been a child before.
I think lobbying is not really something you can get rid of.
So don't get rid of lobbying, period. Black and white it. Just get rid of it. Blank. If we can't...
Well, I mean, how are you going to fund campaigns and stuff, though?
These motherfuckers better get some GoFundMes, pull out some bank loans.
But in that situation, you only ever have billionaires run for office, then.
No, it wouldn't.
Because you'd only have people that can afford to run. It costs a lot of money to run.
That's already how it is.
Well, I mean, most of them are not billionaires, though.
Most of them have a couple 100,000 to $1 million. I just think... I mean,
if you only have a couple 100,000, you're not going to be able to run.
I think...
Most of them run with donations.
Well, I'll say it like this. I think... The guy who shows up with an iPhone 13 recording his campaign speech, as long as he's saying some good shit, I'll vote for him. It shouldn't. Huh?
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
How is he gonna get his voice out there?
It doesn't matter if no one knows about him.
Oh, I'm like, okay. I'm saying he's doing that's like he's like putting it on news stations. Like I don't know how he's funding. Like I
need money to do that.
Exactly.
So, basically, the problem is that being a president is pay to win. Yes.
Not necessarily.
It sounds like you guys are saying it's pay to win. If any
it's pay to play.
Pay to play. So
Trump proved that it's... Well, no, it wasn't Trump. Who the fuck was that guy in New York who he spent like an absurd amount of money on campaigning and he lost? Like it was for mayor or something, mayor or senate.
I have no idea.
I know the story you're talking about. I can't remember.
You've heard
the
his
name.
ads all the time back in like 2020.
I probably have. I would have to see the name.
Bloomberg? No.
Was it him?
God, it was some guy from New York, either running for Senate or mayor.
It wasn't the guy from Florida?
Cuomo? No. It was definitely new. It was some guy from New York. He spent so much money campaigning for some kind of office. Like I think it was the most somebody spent campaigning for like themselves.
And he flopped.
Yes, and he flopped. That proves you can't pay to win.
Like I don't think it's pay to win at all necessarily what you're saying, but you need to have some kind of funding coming in.
It's pay to play.
If you don't have lobbying, then that's saying you can only have someone who has billions of dollars.
Well, I was talking about lobbying in terms of like Congress and stuff. Like I think for a presidential campaign, that's different because, like you said, you need donations.
Yeah.
But like for congressmen, like companies can lobby money for certain bills to be passed or rejected.
Yeah, so
or
like
created.
that is what I kind of want to not have.
Like the reason why public transport was defunded in the 1900s because automotive companies lobbied for it.
Yeah, shit like that is evil to me. And that's
like,
why
that's
I'm against it. So that's why I was like, so maybe sure you could lobby for one guy, but you shouldn't lobby for the country when there's like 300 people making decisions for the country. You probably shouldn't have the mouse at that meeting type shit. That's how I feel. Because I don't really see any good coming from that because the companies are only going to look to protect themselves. They're not. No company is thinking about every citizen on this planet. They're thinking about their customers, and that's it. And more importantly, they're thinking about their company, not even their customers. Because I could say to that degree, a lot of these restaurants, especially in the restaurant industry, they could give a fuck about their customers. They give a fuck about the money they're making. That's why they use cheaper products. Sure. They try to use cheaper labor. Yeah. They cheap out wherever they can to get a bigger return.
A lot of companies are that way, of
exactly.
course, but...
So that's what I'm saying is like, and those same people are making governmental, large human population decisions, or at least they're trying to influence those decisions. Yeah. So that's my problem with lobbying. So maybe sure, whatever. Like, you know, the guy with the iPhone 13 can get some help from Bezos. Who gives a shit? But like, I don't think they should be in the room where laws are being made, like laws. So that was a good question.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
I always think about that. I'm like, lobbying is just, I hate it. I don't know.
Yeah,
you're never getting people's honest opinions. You're voting with you're voting with a company's wallet.
You're voting with a
like,
pocket.
Nobody's best interests are in play except for, the money.
Your constituents, your allies, your investors, your board.
Yeah.
And that's also another, just to put this out there for anyone who's like, oh my God, what do I do with all this lobbying shit? Vote locally. Like,
yes.
If you can't change the country unless you change your state, because united we stand, divided we fall. If you keep putting all your barrels in that basket that's all the way in DC and you live in fucking Alaska, Alaska's not going to get any better just because that new guy in fucking DC hundreds of miles away. It's, you have to fix Alaska.
The president is a very overrated job.
Overrated how?
Overrated, what do you call it?
With what it's actually able to do.
Exactly. Overrated status. Like, people think voting for president is going to be the end-all, be-all.
Okay, I can see that.
The country, but it's not.
No, it's not. He gets checked.
Like, you should probably pay a lot more attention
Congress.
to who you're electing in Congress, your senators.
Yeah.
Local elections as well. Because if you want to change before you change us on a macro scale, change the world on your micro scale. Change the world around you first.
There's literally 50 Lego pieces, and you're worried about the one piece.
Yeah.
Like worry about the other ones first.
It's way easier to look at like one person and place all of the good stuff and all the blame on that one person.
That's
I think it's
why I
usually
feel like
what
it's
it is.
probably, even though it is maybe overrated, it's probably the most stressful position to have.
Oh, absolutely. That's why every time someone becomes president, they age like 10 years in a matter of two.
Well, the president is the figurehead of your country. They represent you on a global scale too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, policy-wise and what actually gets done,
yes.
a lot of it does not actually fall on the president.
No, because they get cucked and banned.
I feel like the House, especially, is usually downplayed a lot because that's where the laws start and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, from there, that's how they pass up to the Senate, and that's how they pass over to the president and all that shit, too. So, I mean, really, like, the House is where everything starts.
And that's probably where the most lobbying happens.
It is. That's why I mentioned it when you guys were talking about I was like, no, I meant lobbying in Congress.
I forget where I heard it, but I've heard that if a third party were to get enough votes, that means then they
get a seat in
the
House of Reps.
Yes, and again, that's where everything starts.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah. So generally, like, even then, like, if you're voting president or whatever, if you were to vote third party, then that means that even if they don't become president, that still has an impact on the country.
That
and
means
everything.
it would have to be a.
I don't know what the percentage is, but.
Well, the way it is now, a lot of states are winner take all. Right?
Yeah.
So it would have.
Not
to be
all of them. I think it's.
Most of them are though. Like I think we should definitely push towards a reform where we're all mixed states.
I feel like that would give it more of a balanced.
It just doesn't seem right that 40% of a state can vote for somebody, but because they lost, that doesn't mean anything. That 60% gets all of the electoral votes and all that. That doesn't seem like. I think we should definitely look at what is it, Colorado, Alaska.
Yeah.
They have a mixed system where, like, if 60% of the vote was Republican and 40% of it was Democrat, you would still have 40% of the
electoral votes
go towards that candidate.
I mean, that sounds pretty fair. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, the way it is now, it's a state decision, like you said, to do it. So some states say it's all or nothing. Some states decide, like, hey, we'll do 50-50. And some states have it like a different tier system. Like, there's like 3 or 4 different ways that they do it, but it's all up to each state individually to decide how they want to do it.
Okay, and back to what I'm saying. We got to fucking worry about the local levels. Like, worry about your own governments before you worry about the big one.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because even then, like locally, that will decide how the president is decided.
Literally, you can change how the president is made just by voting for your own, like, state shit.
Yeah.
Like, care more about, your neighbors, and you'll care more about the country.
Pay attention to what your governor is doing.
Yeah.
That gives you a good idea of where your state is at.
Yeah. You said that just so casual. Like that should be obvious, no? Like,
the guy should be obvious, but a lot of people just don't think about that.
Yeah.
Like, you could go around and ask 10 Georgians who the governor is. They won't fucking know.
True. Because I forgot who it was at the time.
Yeah, you asked us like last week.
Yeah, I was like, these motherfuckers.
Because, I mean, just in general, when the world is as connected as it is right now, for the most part, we don't watch local news.
I don't. I know.
You know what I mean? If we get our news
on my phone, I read it.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
Like
I
for the
avoid
most
the
part,
news
we get
like
our
the
news
plague.
online, and when you're getting your news online, that's spread from all around the world and shit like that. So you're getting news from fucking Colorado to fucking Washington D.C., Texas, all that stuff at the same time. So everything feels a lot bigger than it really is physically for you.
Yeah, you're also not hearing about your state's issues. You're hearing about other people's issues, so it's a little more.
Yeah.
People like national news. Like, I'm gonna tie it back to The Boys. You know the fucking Homelanders and the Starlighters?
Yeah.
Dude, it's the same fucking shit. People watch national news like Fox News and CNN so they can bash on Trump, so they can bash on Biden, so they can bash on the Democrats.
They just
can
want
bash
something.
on
They're
the
bored.
Republicans.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they watch national news.
It's like reality TV, but with
that's
politics.
all. That's
Yeah.
all it is. Like, you ever like sit down and watch the O'Reilly Factor or some shit like that?
No, I've
Yep.
never heard
It's
of it.
just a entire
Fox
hour
News.
of them shitting on Obama or Biden or
Real-
whoever
that's
the fuck
it?
the Democratic nominee or whatever the fuck is.
Yeah.
That's like all it is.
Yeah. All of the major
And it's the same
news
thing on CNN too.
does
It's
it.
like Trump this, Trump that. You know.
Yeah. It's like you hear nonstop about the same stuff over and over and over again because people, I don't know, they just like hearing about stuff like that and feeling like that's what matters a lot of the time as opposed to the local stuff.
I'm gonna sound really fucking crazy, but you know how I was listening to like those like creepypasta stories on my phone?
Yeah.
There was this one I was like listening to a while back, and even though it wasn't like dealing with politics, it had like a really fucking like interesting political analogy if you like really looked into the story. Basically, this guy works in Ohio. Already a terrible job, but he works for like he works for like a special unit for like supernatural, basically like SCP but not SCP type shit. And so the guys in charge of his department fired everyone else but left him just so because you know, like technically in the story they said you can't run a business if there's no employees, so he's the only employee. So technically this branch is still alive and it still exists. But that's not important. So he is like, okay, well, I need to do something because I can't just sit in this office and do nothing all day. So he starts actually taking calls and doing his job solo. And like one of the calls he gets was to investigate this town that had like a problem with the mayor. The mayor was going crazy. And the mayor had recently jailed this homeless person who came into their town spouting nonsense, but he held a little golden like idol, and it said his name was Alexander, like Alexander the Great, and he said he's been walking for a long time and that he needs to burn this statue. And so the mayor, obviously intrigued, takes the statue, takes like this book or tome that the homeless guy was carrying with him, and he jails the homeless guy, starts reading the book. And the mayor starts to like go through these like strange visions and these convulsions, and he starts praying to this little gold statue of like this beautiful Greek man, chiseled body, shit like that. And he starts to like covet it. And then he told his what's the dude under the mayor? Whatever, like he starts telling his cabinet, the mayor's cabinet, about this idol and starts to like try to convert them. And then on the flip side, some of the citizens in the city start to like notice how strange the mayor's supporters are acting, and they're very much like because it's a gold statue, right? So they start giving all their gold jewelry. They start robbing people, stealing things, and they start just giving this creature like gold offerings and sacraments, and they pray to it and praise it. And every time they give this was like think about the size of this beer can. It was sort of like that big. It started growing to like 1.5 feet tall. And like the Ohio guy who's doing all this investigation is listening to this radio station. And the radio station is very important because on the radio station, he hears this guy saying, buy more gold. Silver is evil. Burn all your silver. Throw all your silver out in the trash. Yada, yada, yada. Get more gold. And he's like, what the fuck is this thing talking about? He's really confused. And so he gets attacked by the gold horde. And so he gets pulled away by this like resistance group. The resistance group is like, we don't know why these people are acting this way. We have to get rid of them. We have to stop them. These gold people are going fucking crazy. And so he sides with them, obviously, because he's not the fucking gold people are psychos. They're walking around with guns and shit, and every day they're going to like town square and they start beefing. And but the thing is, no one wants to start the war, but they come to this town square, the gold group and the resistance with guns and torches and shit, and they all start squaring off and shit. But no one ever pulls the trigger. No one wants to be the one that starts this war. And so it goes on for like a week. He keeps going back to this town, helping the resistance and shit. And then they form a plan to attack the gold people, to like destroy the statue, because they're thinking it's mind control, because they obviously, okay, so the statue's growing because they keep giving it gold offerings. Yeah. Obviously, it's a fucking problem. But when they go to attack it, he attacks it. The guy goes to attack the statue. and then the resistance fighters go to, because like I said, they square off every day because the people on the radio tell them to, because the gold guys, they go to the town square and fight this the resistance, and then the resistance people also have a radio that's telling them everything that the gold people are doing. So the gold people have a radio, the resistance has a radio. And so the agent guy, the SCP guy, sneaks out while they're squaring off to try and blow up the gold statue with like 80 pounds of C4. It blows a crater in the earth, but the statue's unharmed. So now he's freaking out, and then he catches a radio he heads back to the resistance home, and he hears a radio in the resistance talking about buying and investing in silver. And so he does like this quick silver? I've never heard this before. And so he goes into the resistance campuses. They also have a huge statue, just like the Greek one, made entirely of silver. And then as they, because apparently he actually gets like a page of the book. There's some ritual that's going to happen on the day that this is happening, after he hears the radio and stuff. And so both statues come to life and start walking towards the center. And then the resistance, now known as the Silver, say, help Silver get to the podium first. Because basically, if they get to the podium, they win this war. And it's like you get the god's blessing.
Yeah.
So both the statues are slowly, like these giant fucking metal kaijus, are walking towards the center of town. And the SCP guy has like this realization. The statues are one of the same. The silver statue and the gold statue are the same statue. They just need a blood sacrifice. It's the same God with a different face. And the reason why I like that boys analogy with the Starlighters and Homelanders, because it's this idea of fanaticism. How even like these people, these are grown ass adults who have jobs, who have to be reasonable, who have to be rational. And you watch how they throw that all away for CNN, for Fox, for CBS. Crazy. They lose all sense of fucking reasoning over this gold and silver statue, this red and blue, this donkey and elephant. It's like, look at the bigger picture. If you've been in this group or if you've been watching TV, because I don't watch news, I stay that's why I feel like part of my political ineptness is
you're probably happier because of it.
I am pretty fucking happy. That's why I'm saying like part of my ignorance is like I enjoy being that happy ignorance of not knowing all the shit that's being said and what's going on. I enjoy that piece. But that story resonated with me because when I watch it in The Boys and I hear about it, when I watch the fucking presidential debate, I see that like that is such a real thing with people, like the psychology.
I think you're more ignorant watching the news at this point because of how radical it makes you. Like, because I mean, you're just gonna view everything as like me versus them.
Yeah,
you
but they want it to be that way. It's by design.
Yeah,
like they literally need that to happen because if you're fighting your neighbors, you're not voting at a state level, are you? You're not worried about what's going on in front of you. What's going on with your schools? What's going on with your transportation? What's going on with your water? What's going on with your healthcare? What's going on with the fucking that Tyler Oliveira video where they literally live next to a cancer plant? Yeah. It's shit like that. It's like, you're not going to worry about that. You're going to worry about why Biden can't fucking get a sentence out, why Trump just keeps dodging. That's what you're going to be worried about. Not the shit that's at your front door, but shit that, like you just said, a single individual who can't even do anything really. That is your biggest concern. That is where you're going to put all your horses. That's where you're going to put all your money in. Does that make sense to you? Does any rational person, when you say that out loud, if you told a person to repeat what I just said word for word, I am worrying about a person who can't do shit for me, do you really think that they care as much about like CNN and Fox?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. But people will ride or die for these people, and that never made sense to me as someone who stayed out of the politics game. Like, why the fuck do you care so much? Like, sure, Hunter Biden's a weird ass nigga, but like, who gives a fuck? Like, can we focus on some real shit, please? You know,
it's so true.
Yeah,
there was like 2 months straight where like there's nothing on Fox but Hunter Biden this, Hunter Biden that.
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah.
And it's
Can we talk about the socioeconomic status of the
Jada Smith.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just brings me to the whole, like, it does feel very kind of culty and very much like...
It is, 100%.
Yeah.
People, it becomes past, like, just wanting what's best for the country or whatever. It starts becoming, like, religious.
Like a personal
It becomes
attack.
Religious.
Yes, religious.
Like, really, it does. It becomes religious to an extent. And that's...
Pray to your little Biden Trump shrine each night. Like, protect me, daddy.
What? You know, after Trump was convicted, I actually saw shit like that all over Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like free Papa Teresa. Like people were photoshopping Trump in like the Heaven's Gate thing with like his hand up, like the fucking. Flash
You ever
of
see
light.
that fucking
It's
video
like,
of
he
the
is
dude?
innocent.
You ever see that TikTok of the dude praying to Trump in his car?
No.
That's the funny. It was like from a couple years ago. I think it was like when the 2020 election happened or whatever. He was like, "Please, Trump, if you can hear me, like doing all this stuff."
These people are insane. These are people.
Yeah.
70-year-old men at that. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is like my last like closing topic because this also resonated with the thing with like the because I watched a lot of Tyler videos, so I feel like you would have something to say to this as well.
I haven't seen the most recent few, but you can talk about it.
No, but he does also have homeless people.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of what it comes down to. It was more of like, there's this Kendrick Lamar song. I don't know if you've heard it. I know you probably haven't heard it because you don't like you're not into like the rap side of things. But it's a song called "How Much a Dollar Costs." I'm not gonna sing the song. I'm just gonna paraphrase it for you. He's dealing with his newfound fame, and he sees a homeless man on the side of the street. And this homeless man asks him for some money, $1. And he says he doesn't have it, obviously, because, you know, you just keep it pushing, especially because he's from the, you know, when you know people are running games trying to get money for whatever, you're not going to trust a homeless person just, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy whatever. You're like, no, you're probably going to use my shit for drugs or something. You're like, you're not going to just give your money to fuel someone else's addiction. That was like the logic of it. So he says, yeah, no, beat it. I don't have anything. But this homeless person just keeps staring at him. And as he's like, because he's at a gas station, he's fueling up his car, and so as he's like tells this guy, no, fuck off, I'm not giving you any money. The homeless person stares at him, and then he just like Kendrick, the guy he's singing, he keeps like getting angry and angry. It's like, why is he so upset at me for not giving him something when all he does is just take? Like, why am I supposed to be your savior? Why am I the one who's ruined your day? Why am I like this? The ire of your storm. Why am I your target when I did nothing to put you here? And basically, he calls him up and says, hey man, what are you doing? Like, what's your problem? What's your deal? Like, every nickel is mine to keep type shit. And the homeless person was just like, look, have you ever heard opened up Exodus 14? I forget what the Bible verse is, but basically he's saying a humble man, like he's saying, I am probably the most humble man you'll ever meet. I am God in my own right. I am because think about like Jesus when he appeared, no one thought he was important. He thought he was some random ass dude. The Jewish people were looking for like this shiny, glamorous, glitzy Messiah, and it was just some carpenter in sandals. So carpenter in sandals, and the homeless person was trying to draw us an analogy. Yeah, I'm a humble man, and obviously, but you missed your chance at heaven because you didn't help me. And so basically the whole point is like, because sometimes I feel like I understand both sides of the story. Because after talking to John about it, I understand why, like, you know, helping homeless people should be like a virtue of something you should do. But I also understand the logic of like, why do you want to give when you don't really have? And it's like, why am I trying to fund someone? Why am I giving more than what I really have to give to somebody? Why am I your savior? Why is it my responsibility? Like the whole kicking the can, like how we talked about earlier with like saving a child in the well. But like obviously it's not a saving a child in the well. It's like, look, I have my own financial struggles. Why are you looking at me like I'm supposed to fix yours? Type shit. And so I guess I just kind of wanted to ask you guys, just kind of get in your head and pick your brains a bit, like, how would y'all really go about? Because I feel like, I don't want to say homelessness is the biggest issue, but it's an issue that's always existed since the dawn of humanity, and I feel like it will exist well beyond into the future. But what is your, like, kind of like your insight? Because I don't think it's a problem we should just, I'll say it like this. I don't agree with funding people's drug addictions. I'll just keep it up front. I don't think that's a smart idea. But I also don't believe in like hostile architecture to where like you're now getting rid of benches and parks. You're just making it worse for everybody. I don't believe in that either.
I think that's honestly evil.
Yeah, I think that's fucked up.
There's no reason for that.
Yeah, so like that's why I'm somewhere in the middle. Where it's like obviously I want to help them. First thing I want to do is help, but it's like I also don't think just moving them somewhere else.
It's not helping you. Yeah. It's just making them someone else's problem.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have cash on me and I have like small bills, I always give them to the homeless. That's always something I've done. If I don't have cash on me, I don't have cash on me. I show my wallet. Like, look, this is where I keep my cash. I don't have it. I would get pretty pissed off if I was at a gas station. I didn't have cash on me, and somebody was fucking pestering me for 5 minutes. I literally do not have cash on me. No, I'm not going to cash app you. I don't even have cash app on my phone. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that.
The past couple times I've done it, I just bought him something.
I did that a couple times.
That's usually
too.
the way I go about it. I bought like some sodas and shit.
Unironically, I've bought homeless people make chicken sandwiches.
Last
That's the
time,
cost of $1 right there. Or it used to be, not anymore.
Damn.
last time it happened, I had 3 different people come up to me in the same day.
Hey,
And
you
I,
told me about this.
yeah, I gave each of them something different depending on like what it was. The first one, he asked for I think a soda or something like that. I ended up buying him like a beer and a pack of cigarettes or something.
Pack of cigarettes.
He asked for it, so
I would not buy them cigarettes.
I was like,
Or
yeah,
beer.
sure.
Actually, I wouldn't buy them beer.
Yeah, because like he said he wanted a soda, then he ended up grabbing a beer. So I was like, well, all right, I'm already here. And then later on, there's like this random person who came up to me and they're like, hey, do you have like $10 or some shit? This guy said he needs to drive me home. He needs like money to drive me home or whatever. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I gave him like, I don't know, $10-15 or whatever. And then she was like, "Oh, thank God, I don't have to suck this guy's dick anymore."
Yeah, that one got me because I was like, "Damn, that's
yeah." Because I mean, like,
I
legitimately.
did not need to know that.
Well, no, I mean, dead serious.
No,
like,
if I was in your shoes, I would have been like, I did not need to know that.
well, I mean, like, honestly, like, it's kind of eye-opening because I mean, people really legitimately they have to do some hard shit for money a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's a crazy. Like you hear about that shit in like movies and stuff, but knowing that that's a real favor proposition.
Like hearing shit like that, it's like one of those things. It's like, damn, like, yeah, this person really needed the money. Like, I can tell you that right now. This person was not lying about needing that fucking money.
Yeah.
The first guy who I went and I bought him the fucking beer and alcohol, I ended up talking to him for like 15-20 minutes after about the Bible and shit. He tried getting me to fucking follow a link to his website about like business shit or something. And then the last one was just some lady who was like short by like $2 or whatever. I ended up, handing her $2 cash. But I had like 3 completely different people that same day, all at different places and stuff that asked me for money. And I was just like, I might as well. Like, I mean, I have no reason not to in that situation. I mean, even with the first guy, I mean, I know he was trying to get like beer and cigarettes or whatever. But I mean, I'm not going to like just like, you actually wanted cigarettes? Well, fuck you, dude. I'm not going to like back off on everything in that situation.
No, I'm definitely saying no. I'm not gonna buy you cigarettes.
Because I mean, I don't agree with smoking. Like, I mean, obviously,
I'm not gonna fuel bad habits with my money.
That's kind of where I get.
And I
into
get
the
that
whole part of it.
I do 100% get that, but at the same time, like, I'm not gonna be. I don't know. I try to be helpful for people or
just say
whatever.
no. Get him a honey bun. I don't know. Is he gonna be mad at you for buying him a honey bun? The fuck?
I could, but like, I mean, in the end, like, I don't know. He's already addicted to cigarettes. He's homeless. He's in this
At a
position
certain
and
point,
everything at
I
this
Buy
get
his
point.
own
like
cigarettes.
I
then.
like what else do they have to look forward to? I can get that. So it's like, but it's almost like how we talked earlier. It's just like, is that really what you want to give them? You know what I mean?
I mean, ideally, no. I mean, really, it's not ideally what I'd want to give someone, but at that point,
That's literally the phrase "beggars can't be choosers."
no, I know, yeah.
Like,
But like I said, in that position where someone is homeless, I mean, all they're going to end up doing is finding someone else who's going to either give them money, just straight up, which they could buy whatever they want with.
that's their
You
choice
know.
then. It's not,
I mean, sure, but I would much rather them smoke cigarettes than like, I don't know, crack or something. You know what I mean?
either way, it was their choice.
I mean, sure, but if I'm there and I can get them something, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, cigarettes are by no means the worst thing you could be doing with your body. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you chose a
It's not a
lesser
good
of
thing.
two.
Like,
evils in
I
that
don't
case.
agree with them whatsoever, obviously. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, yeah, like, you're already homeless. I doubt you're going to be homeless, be in a shitty position, and also try to stress yourself out while trying to, like, quit cigarettes at the same time. Like, you're probably thinking about where you're going to sleep that night. You're probably not thinking about, like, oh, how am I going to quit smoking right now? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's, like, the top of their priority list. So I'm not going to make that the top of my priority list either. I'd rather just, if they ask for help, I'll help them out. You know, that's generally when it comes to helping people, that's kind of my view on things. Like if I'm driving and someone comes and knocks over my car window or something, I'm usually not going to give them money. But if I'm like standing there and someone like walks up personally asks me for something, that's usually when I will be a little bit more considerate giving. It's because I like talking to people. if I can actually talk to you,
you get a feel for the person.
Yeah, if I can talk to you, I can get a feel for you, and I can get like a vibe of like what you're about and how you are as a person. Then like yeah, absolutely, because I like getting to know people. I like trying to understand who you are, like what's going on with you and everything too. I'm probably not going to ask you about your life situation. I don't care. Like I mean, I care, but you know what I mean.
You don't care about how they got there.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I mean, like for me personally, like I said, like a large reason like why I like doing the podcast and stuff like that, because we're talking to people.
So you do care.
Well, yeah, I do.
Okay.
I was saying, like, ultimately, like, that's one of the reasons, like, I like doing the podcast and everything like that, because, you know, obviously all the people we've had on here is people we know. Eventually, I'd like to get to a point where we're talking to people we don't know and things like that as well. But we're talking about stuff that you ordinarily wouldn't, and you're getting the opportunity to get to know people and how they got to where they are, where their headspace is, where they want to be, and things like that too. And I think a homeless person, you know, they're still a person. It's still just as valuable to know all that at the same time. And like I said, I mean, they have much bigger fish to fry a lot of the time too. Buying a pack of cigarettes, in the grand scheme of thing, I'm not going to be the one giving them cancer. You know what I mean? They've already got the addiction to cigarettes and stuff like that. If that already happens, they're in that position. And even then, as fucked up as it sounds, like I said, they don't even know where they're going to sleep that night. That might be the only thing that helps them like calm down and not fucking cry themselves to sleep that night, is having a fucking cigarette before they go to bed or something. You know? So if I can do that for them at the very least, I'll do that. You know?
Okay. I can see that.
I'm personally still not buying them a cigarette.
So I mean that's fine. I understand that. Like you said,
I
beggars can't be choosers, and that's fine. Like I said,
I'd rather buy them food.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like,
if he asked for food or something, I would have bought him food too. I mean, if he was hungry, I'm
just saying that
food.
From my perspective, I don't feed into bad habits.
Yeah, no,
like,
that's probably like the more objectively correct thing to do.
Yeah,
like 100%. I agree.
Like honestly, if somebody asked me to buy them beer or like cigarettes, I would be like, no. Can I buy you a soda instead? Can I get you like a honey bun? Can I get you food?
Yeah.
You want $5 from McDonald's or something? Like,
yeah. And like I said, I think it's 100% probably the more like objectively correct thing, because like you said, you're not feeding into bad habits. And
I don't know.
Like
I mean,
that.
like, dude, I'm going into healthcare. Like, I don't know. I just don't believe in feeding bad habits.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. What about you?
For me personally, it's honestly like it's a 50-50. It depends on the approach, because sometimes I'll look at you, and if I get the vibe that you're not going to do this for something good, I probably would say no. But I've bought people drinks and food a couple of times, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if it's just me, but I've only had like kind of negative experiences with it though, because the one guy I tried to like buy food and stuff for, he tried to ask me for he asked me to buy him beer and cigarettes, like he pulled the old switcheroo on me, and I was like, dude, I'm underage, I can't. And then he tried to like ask me to buy him, like he was like, well, he wasn't asking me, but like, you know that whole if you give a mouse a cookie type deal, he kept like low key trying to like up the stuff I would buy. He's like, yeah, I need to call my daughter, but I don't have a phone right now, but the phone I did have, because he was trying to like sound like he did have, so he was like, the phone I did have stopped working, but like, you know, Walmart got these phones for like $80. I was like, okay, go to Walmart then. But like, he obviously wanted me to buy him a phone from Walmart, and he kept like mentioning other things, and I was just like, dude.
I mean, I'd be like, you can borrow my phone. You can call your daughter.
I literally showed him. I literally tried to like. He was like, no, like this phone from Walmart. It's like $80 and yada yada. But he wanted it on.
Yeah.
Exactly. So at that point, I was like, dude, like no. Like, I'm trying to be kind. Like, and the thing is, like, I'm a nice person. I don't go out of my way to be kind. I'm just gonna be very objective. I don't go out of my way to be kind because I like to protect my kindness. Because if you keep I feel like if you keep showing the world that you're kind, someone's going to try and take advantage of you. So it's a lot better to just mind your business and help when you need to help. Be useful when the time arises. Don't just go out and just be like, yes, everyone asks me for things and stuff. I will solve all. I don't like being like I don't like presenting myself as a Superman type of person. I know some people do. I am not a Superman person. I'm a Batman.
It's very destructive in the long run if you do that.
Yeah. When you need me in the clutch, I come up clutch. But I'm not putting my fucking face on the front line just for anybody.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how I approach things. That's how I help people too. So like when I was driving, I actually give money to people in cars. I'm actually more likely to do that when I'm driving, because on the off chance that they're trying to like stick their hand in the car, I just pull off. But yeah.
Damn.
I'm being so rational because I've seen some shit, I've heard some shit. Like I'd feel much safer just, you know, sliding down my window, sliding the motherfucker a $5 or some shit and being on my way.
I think for me, part of it is like when you're one of those guys just like waiting in a corner with a bucket or something. A lot of the times, you know what I'm
So,
saying? Like
wash the car.
no,
Like they're waiting by a stoplight.
yeah, like things like that. A lot of the times when I see those, like obviously like I'm sure they're good or whatever, but a lot of the times when I see that, it's kind of like it looks like they just clocked in at a job.
I know they have that look.
You know what I mean? Like it feels like
determination.
it feels like they go there day in day out, and that's how they make their living. Meanwhile, like when someone actually like walks up to you and has a conversation with you, it feels more personal, and it feels like
there's a risk to it. There's more of like an intimate, like they are really approaching you.
Like yeah, it feels like
help.
they're legitimately asking for help. But if they're
Yeah.
going through and you see them going down a line of people asking everyone individually, just like holding up a bucket at you, like as they're walking past their car, that's like a very impersonal way of doing it. It feels like you're watching. Yeah, it feels like I'm walking at a fucking cashier.
I can see. I never thought about it like that.
Like, I know it's probably a fucked up way to look at it, but like legitimately, that's kind of how I see it.
they all have the same clock. They're like they fucking punch their ticket in. They're ready.
It's like when you're like awkwardly like avoiding eye contact with a cashier.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like
I get you.
and I don't know. It's a very awkward thing because you always have to like look straight ahead. when walking past you and everything. And I always feel bad because I like helping people and I like giving them money or whatever when they need it. But a lot of the times like that, it's like they probably just got like $200 today. You know what I mean? Like I doubt that they're gonna use this to go buy a fucking McChicken. Because I mean, they could have just walked up and asked someone like, "Hey, you buy me a McChicken?"
Yeah, so you already know
Yeah.
like where their head is at most likely, when they're doing that.
Yeah. And what were you gonna say, Darren? Because I know you like gasped earlier.
I was at a Walmart, right? And this was like 2 years ago, about almost 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years. I forgot why I was at Walmart. I was buying something. There's a dude in the parking lot. He was like, "Hey man, my wife is pregnant. Like I'm stranded out here. I need to go to the hospital so I can see my newborn and blah 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 blah. I need to call someone. I just need like $10." And then I gave him $10 and looked at him and I was like, "Hope what you're saying is true. If it's not, I hope karma gets you." And I said my goodbye.
You said that to him?
Yeah. I was like, if what you're saying is true, I hope you see your wife. I hope karma treats me well. If you're lying to me, I hope karma screws you over, kind of thing. I was like half buying it, half not.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, fuck it, just stop bothering me, take my money. And I walked inside Walmart, did my thing, and then when I came home, Justin, shout out Justin, was teaching me how to like use my skateboard. And then we were going around like my new apartment complex, and I found approximately $200 of wadded up cash on the street.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motherfucker got some karma. There you go.
Karma that day.
Okay.
Holy
This
shit,
motherfucker
yeah.
really pulled up clutch. This motherfucker got to see his wife and shit.
Yeah, I'm like, sick, guys. I was like, you know what? He probably did need that money to see his wife. I did a great thing today, and I pocketed the money. And it had someone's name on it. It said like Alex or something. And it was probably drug money, and somebody got shot because of it. You know, it's not my problem. I took the money.
Oopsies. Where's my money, Alex?
You got some heavy reverse karma coming your way too.
That's not my fault. I left it there. It was wet. It was there for a while. It was damp. That was a damp wad of money.
When the
It was not
dealer
my
comes
fault.
late.
I mean, like ultimately, like, I mean, you probably did. You'll never know if he like, used that money for the right reason.
I don't know.
or not.
I got treated well that day though.
I mean, like regardless.
As a net positive, you know, you're up 190, so
Yeah.
it's a win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you got your money, Darren.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got your comeuppance. That's very good. I'm proud of you.
Giving to others.
Yes, sir.
You didn't give to yourself.
How would you guys stop homelessness?
Stop homelessness like as a whole.
I agree. We talk about drugs.
Like, what's a policy you could put in place?
I would be so fucking hard on drugs you wouldn't imagine. Like, of course, I would
It's
say
so funny coming from you.
Damn.
But here's the kicker. The only drugs I would legalize most drugs except for like meth, fent, and heroin. I think
we did talk about this. I told him I would
legalize. You would legalize
weed and coke,
and then coke, fair.
Weed
and
and
then every other street drug is bad.
basically
Okay,
because like
that's
what are
fair.
you doing with like fent?
Yeah, people are saying that after weed gets legalized in all 50 states, cocaine's next.
No, I agree.
Because
That's gonna be next.
Runs on cocaine. I've talked to enough New Yorkers. New York runs on cocaine.
Coke is rich people.
Yeah, it's a rich people's drug.
Yeah.
I would have like instead of having like a weird middle ground for everything, I would just have legal drugs and illegal drugs. There's no like in between.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That way you
There's,
can
like,
have
really weird laws about weed and all that. Like,
yeah.
Well, weed was also due to lobbying. So
Yeah.
funny enough.
But that way you would just have like certain sections of everything. Like you could just go to a store, buy some weed. You can go to a store, buy a fucking brick of cocaine. Like whatever whatever it is, you know, as goofy as that
A
sounds.
shroom Toblerone.
I mean, like, you could just go there and buy it, and then that way, the other stuff, I would probably, like, be a lot more strict on.
Super.
Like, I would have, like, forced rehab and shit like that after a certain point and things like that. So drug-wise, that's how I'd probably handle that. Also,
I still think we should put a limit on how much people can buy. I don't think you should go out buying bricks of cocaine every Friday night.
Oh yeah, I mean, like,
if it's
obviously
overdose,
point,
where like the
but-
same how they
Yeah.
bartenders
Like, I don't think
monitor your
I don't think
drink
that would
usage.
work out well in practice.
You know, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
function. However,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have that set up, but
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
very little.
Maybe don't sell bricks.
regulation
Maybe
on
you
those.
sell like half a brick. Who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, at least then that way it's legal. You're not gonna have shit that's laced anymore because
Yeah,
it's not
that's another
thrown
part of
together
the
and shit
lace.
And you
like
can
that.
tax it.
Exactly. So they can make. They have. Actually
Colorado
lot
made a
of
shit
money.
ton of money off
Yeah.
of weed.
Yeah.
Same thing. A lot of our issues with drugs and stuff also comes from like the drugs come from foreign countries and stuff like that. So handling stuff with
We would
immigration,
kill the cartel.
handling stuff with immigration also handles stuff with the drug issues as well. So if you tackle both of those at the same time,
And
then
Big Pharma wins.
damn, unfortunate. But if you're tackling both that stuff at the same time, then what you're really doing is like you're getting rid of a lot of the users for those drugs and shit like that too.
Mhm.
So that also handles immigration and shit like that
Probably
too.
short, like, we call it hits crime, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately, a large portion of the people we have here who are homeless are also immigrants and stuff like that too. They're people who got really shitty situations and everything when they first got here, or people who got like really fucked over in other situations here. So I mean, from there, honestly, like just having as much like public housing available as well, trying to make sure that they have places to go to live in that's like built by the government specifically for homeless people and stuff
But
like
they
that.
choose not to go to public housing when it's available. So here's
They
what
do
I
right
would
now
do.
because of the way shelters and stuff are set up. But if everything was handled in that way, I think it would probably be fine.
Here's what I would do. I would give you like I would say like a room this big is your own personal room, like a little cot, and it'll have like a duplex or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
I'm saying like an apartment building. or
Yeah,
something.
something
You
like
just have an
that.
apartment
But
for
here's the
different
kicker.
people.
I, as the government body, I would hire the best fucking chefs I could get, because that's what get them to stay. You're gonna curve your addiction because if the food is good and you have a roof over your head, what is there to complain about?
Damn.
Like we're little, because think about it, you have to get to these people to something
Feeding
that
the
matters.
soul.
You're feeding their soul because look, bro. I'm
The
not
only
gonna-
issue I can think of with something like that, where you want them to stay there as long as possible, stay there with a purpose to like, cause the same way prisons give you like books and stuff to get the degree. I'm giving them like resources to actually get out. But the reason I want them to like care about coming is the food, because you have something that like is going to comfort you instead of like other vices like. But I'm saying a lot of people would probably not want to leave that housing either in that situation. Because
then-
what happens is they're sitting there like, oh, yummy, I have everything I'll ever need right here.
I mean,
Like,
the
what,
government
like
already
at that
does
point,
that,
why would
though.
you ever want to move
I mean,
out?
that's what food
That's what
stamps
it-
and
that's what it
welfare is. Is that not?
That's what is?
Food stamps and welfare isn't that the same thing? But like in a
Exactly.
different.
But you're saying if you're gonna like hire like really nice chefs or whatever, then it's kind of the same thing. With food stamps and stuff, at the very least, you have to go out and buy your groceries.
And also, you're given a very limited amount. You can't just buy whatever you want with food stamps.
Yeah,
True.
because otherwise, you literally have nothing to work
It is
towards.
not essentially free food. They also choose the food for you. Like, some food stamps only work with certain products. You can't buy whatever you want.
The food stamp system is really fucked up too. But no, that's all.
In theory,
But-
having some nice food and a roof over your head and some goals to work towards.
Like, no, I agree, it's nice, but the only issue is that all of a sudden you have a bunch of people who don't want to work.
Well,
Then
probably
they just
didn't
go
work-
to the homeless house. and
They
they're
just didn't
fine.
want to work in the first place. That's
Yeah, and then they just go to the homeless house and they're fine. You know what I mean?
okay. So actually, let's talk about that, because part of that thing with the Tyler Oliveira thing was like free will. Some people just don't want to work in general, don't want to be a part of society. So what do you do with those people?
That
Just
disgusts me.
like you just want just
Damn.
let them. I mean,
It does.
to
That
a certain
disgusts
degree.
me.
Is like if you're not trying to contribute, because like if
You're
all
so
you,
fucking lazy. That disgusts
not
me.
even like lazy, but it's like if you.
I think some
just-
people just don't want to be a part of that.
But why
sphere.
would
Like,
you
they just
want
don't
to stay near it and stay around it? you
Where are
know?
they gonna go?
If you don't want to be a part of it, don't be a part
Get a
of it.
van life. Van life's
Do
dope as
something.
fuck.
I don't know. It's weird to me to like. It's almost like those people. Like, oh my god. Oh, like the people who are just like.
The only issue is like if you have
I'm
a
not
van, you're
like
still gonna have to go
everyone
around
else.
begging for money too, because you're gonna have to pay for gas, you're gonna have to pay for maintenance. On
But
the
you don't want to
van
be
and
part of the
everything, too.
society that gives you that stuff. You want to just ask other people for the stuff they worked for. That's so weird to me.
But I mean, regardless if you're going to be homeless, like you have
No,
to
no, no.
do
Just for people who don't want to
something.
work. Like you just people who just want to live in the homeless shelter forever and determine. It's like for those people, it's like, what are you doing? It,
Well,
like-
yeah, I mean, I agree, but there's always going to be like an incentive there because I mean, no one really likes to work for the most part.
I understand that.
So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to is, I mean, it's an easy way out, but it's and like incentivizing way out. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand the appeal of wanting to be homeless and being completely free, not having to pay taxes, not having to have any of the stress of paying bills. If I knew somebody
wanted to be homeless, I would honestly not give them the money. That disgusts me to that degree.
So how would you fix it, John?
And that?
No. Just in general, let's just
how do I fix people wanting to be homeless?
If you could knock out 80% of homelessness, how would you do it?
Well, I mean,
he already kind of did talk about it.
Well,
I mean, yeah. For one, like, I don't think there's any way to get rid of people like wanting to be homeless. There's always gonna be something.
So, that's what,
yeah, but I feel like it's a very
20%,
like a minority.
Anything, yeah,
it is a minority. It's absolutely a minority.
Yeah.
The vast majority of them do not want to be homeless or in like really shitty situations.
And even then, those who choose to be homeless, if you gave them a house and a free meal, obviously they'd fucking take it. It's like
exactly like the very little of them want to be homeless. It's really just the lack of responsibilities that they want.
Yeah,
which again is completely understandable. Very little
it's not
people.
Understandable. It's kind of gross.
Like I said, I mean, very few people want responsibilities. Like when it comes down to it, it's something they get for some other freedom or whatever. People as a whole want the positives without the downsides of it as frequently as possible, and a lot of the times that's how that is.
Beggars can't be choosers. I don't know.
They quite literally can in that situation.
Well, I was thinking like Ozempic. That's like one of those like a weight loss drug to where you don't have to work out or try as hard. It does help because I think it's for diabetes. Like
it's for diabetics.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's like mainstream, so people who don't want to work out, Drake, like shit like that. It's like
and they can die of pancreatitis. Good for them.
Yo, damn.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything has some kind of side effect.
That's also disgusting.
So you don't like shortcuts.
I think laziness and what do you call the sloth?
Slothfulness?
That is one of the most disgusting 7 deadly sins for me. I can't stand laziness.
I can see that. I can see that argument being made. Like, cause like I guess you're saying like it's just like the having all this like ability to do something and you just do nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of inferior. Like the fact that
like I don't need to work out or eat better. I'm just gonna inject myself with this $1,200 medication somebody with diabetes could have got. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck? No. Like, yeah, you're gross.
Yeah, I guess
you're so late. I would actually make fun of you if I found out one of my friends bought Ozempic just so they could slim down. They weren't diabetic. I would bully the shit out of you. That's so disgusting.
You would dangle your gym membership. Boo!
No, you don't understand, bro. Working in pharmacy, that shit has been on back order so many times.
Ozempic?
There have been Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy. There have been so many times where it goes on back order because the supplier, the drug companies are not making enough for the demand, and the demand are these fucking rich people who just want to lose weight. It's not, it's not diabetic. Like,
the people who actually need it.
Yeah.
I can,
that disgusts me. You're taking it out of the hands of people who actually need it. And it's because you're lazy and you're incompetent and you have a lack of accountability.
Okay, I can see where that frustration can.
This is also somebody who goes to the gym, at least twice or thrice every week.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stems from personal issues as well. Like really, when it comes down to it, a lot of people mentally, like developmentally or whatever personal reason why it is. A lot of them psychologically do not have this desire to self-actualize or become better in any way. They just want to be better without actually, the journey versus destination, that whole thing. They just want to get there without actually having to put in any of the work to self-improve themselves to earn that point.
That's it.
They want to Homelander themselves.
Yeah.
They want to take the V. They don't want to actually do the fucking push-ups and shit like that to get to that point. And I guess for the people who choose to be homeless and everything, as rare as it is, that's kind of the same way. It's them just kind of taking a way out because that's how they've been conditioned in their lives to an extent. Whether it's them being disillusioned by the government, them hating taxes, or whether it's them having strict parents when they're younger or whatever. The only way to really handle that stuff is if you get to them on a personal level and you start understanding why they want to be homeless.
So like life counseling coaches?
Yeah. I mean, like for people like that, that's really the only real way to do it. Because, I mean, you can't tell someone they're like inherently wrong for that. That's just like a personal opinion that they have. You can't really tell someone that they're wrong for wanting to be free or whatever. Like from
I understand you
that
can't
whole
tell them
branch,
they're wrong
but
for making their own decisions if the decision ultimately only harms them. I can see that.
Like I would agree 100% that that's doing nothing but harming them, at all. Like it's
but they're choosing to harm themselves. So it's like
at that point, you're not benefiting society. You're not benefiting yourself at all, and really any
Just a waste
meaningful
of
way.
air.
I'm not gonna go that far, but because I still think every person has value, whether or not they're
Well, so
actively
what's the
What
contributing
value
to
do
taking?
you
society.
have? Like,
Well, that's actually what's the value in just taking?
Life like views, I guess, like the way you actually view the world, life experience. Like you can still teach someone, like your own personal experiences
Want
and
to learn how to
stuff.
cook a rat?
I mean, like you never know. Like I mean, different people have different views on the world and everything. I'm not gonna say someone.
I can respect.
If
that.
someone had a cabin in the woods, like they weren't paying taxes or anything like that, but they just lived in a cabin in the woods by themselves, I'm not gonna say they don't have anything of value for the world. You know what I mean? Like even though technically speaking, like they're not a part of society.
but
or
they're not bothering
whatever.
anybody else. They're not taking anybody else's money. They're working for themselves.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, like I said, like,
That's
I,
the
like,
exact
I get
opposite
it.
of like a
It's the
person
core of
choosing to be
taking.
homeless and their
Mhm.
money comes from
Yeah.
other people feeding that.
Yeah,
Like that's a parasite.
I don't know. Even then, it's interesting. Like wondering, like asking them, like, what got you to this position? Like, why do you want to be here? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure, like,
What
They-
could they say that would allow you to sympathize with that?
which I haven't asked them. I don't know.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've never talked to someone who's likes being homeless.
Yeah,
I don't know, y'all. I've never ever talked to someone in my life who said that they like.
I haven't
being
either.
homeless.
But like now, like he's interviewed people who have said that.
Yeah.
So they exist.
Yeah, I know they
I don't
exist,
even know what the
100%.
fuck I would say to that. Like,
Yeah, because I would be baffled too. Just like, really?
give me my $5 back. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it's real.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I wonder if we could ever find.
You truly couldn't eradicate homelessness because homelessness, to a degree, is always.
Well, I was gonna say, I wonder if we could ever find someone in that position to like interview on the podcast.
That'd be interesting. That'd be actually really interesting.
I wonder how hard it would be to find someone who is like a willing homeless person to get on the podcast.
Let's go to LA.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Did you ever give your way to fix homelessness?
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for it. I think a lot of homelessness is a lot of people who are homeless have like obvious mental issues. You see it all the time when you walk around the streets.
I understand. So would you just do like more like therapy and mental health stuff?
Yeah, I'm talking about institutionalization.
That's what John was saying. He said forced rehab. That's
Yeah,
the same
forced
thing.
rehab.
Yeah.
But he said it in a specific scenario where it's like
Drugs.
drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
I also think you need a drive to get yourself back on your feet. You know what I mean? The best way to do that is, I'm not trying to say this as like a authoritarian state of mind, but cracking the whip on someone. Like whether it like it's like, you know, at that point it's like homework. You know, like
but I hate homework.
I don't know, you're giving them a job, you're paying them still, but you're forcing them to do it.
You're giving them. You're contriving them a purpose. You're like.
Yeah, you're giving them purpose. That's a
Yeah.
better way to put it.
Okay. Because I thought when you first said authoritarian, I thought you were gonna introduce them to like religion or some shit. I was like, well, that does usually.
That doesn't sound very authoritarian.
I mean, that religion. When you say get the ball, I'm like, religion does tell you not to like be slothful. Like religion.
Yeah.
Usually, like for Judeo-Christian religions, tell you to get off your ass and grind. Other religions are a little more varied, but the big monotheistic ones tell you to get on your ass and get on your grind. Get off your ass, get on your grind.
Yeah.
So I thought, I mean, that would be something, but I don't know. I think that's such a really, it's a nuanced thing because like it's been here forever. It's probably gonna be here forever. It's just so weird to think. I just don't agree with just making benches shitty. I don't think punishing people. I don't think punishments have never in the history of humanity ever worked. People stopped drinking. You did prohibition. We had fucking organized crime.
Yeah.
We tried to ban TikTok. We have this shit going on right now. There's a lot of things when you tell people no, they usually just do it more. And so
more people will be homeless.
no, I'm saying you'll never stop it just because you move them somewhere else. You're not eradicating the problem.
You're literally just making it someone else's
You're just
issue.
moving. You're literally just pushing the
Instead of not
the
you.
people
Oh.
getting rid of the benches.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you
Yeah.
were talking about my.
No,
No,
not
no,
the
no, no,
average
no.
person, but the people that could actually do something are just moving, kicking the can.
Yeah, they're putting them on buses to. New
Yeah.
York
You're not
or
getting to the root of like
Texas or
why
whatever.
are there so many homeless people in here?
Yeah.
You know.
You're just saying, well, now there's no homeless people in my city.
I mean, we talked about mental institutions on the Cameron episode. How after benzodiazepines and antidepressants came a thing, you could finally treat people in mental asylums. So we saw a decrease in mental asylums, and also there was a lot of social reform that came with that too. There's a lot of abuse going on in mental asylums.
Yeah, 'cause-
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, once you can medicate them, they could live on their own. But the ones who couldn't, they were on the streets. They weren't in institutions anymore. They're on your streets.
Yeah.
And you see it with veterans too. They go to war. They get PTSD. They have other things,
Probably amputated, like all kinds of stuff.
Amputated. I don't know. They get dealt a bad hand, and they're forced on the streets. I don't know. I think the best solution is just picking them up and putting them to work. I don't know.
Like at least keeping their mind busy.
You're also giving them a place to stay. It's like an institution. They're working so they get an income. They're it's also a way to like learn how to reintegrate yourself back into a society.
You're literally describing
I
prison,
agree.
But it's not a prison. That's so fucking.
I mean,
funny.
it is a prison, but it's like I don't know. It's a prison.
Happy prison.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think prison should also be focused more on reform instead of punishment as well.
Yeah,
so I think both of them kind of go hand in hand, really.
Yeah.
If you reform one, you reform both of them to make sure that people are
the biggest
on a better path.
problem with what I'm talking about will be compliance.
Yeah, because I mean, most people probably wouldn't agree with that.
You can't just make someone do something, especially if they're scared to even get around people in the sense like if they're already like mentally have issues going on. When the more mental problem, the less. What's the word I'm looking? You're more reclusive if you've got stuff going on in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing with like the forced rehab thing too, because I mean, in that situation, you're forcing people to have withdrawal symptoms for long periods of time when they don't want to have those withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah, I even think they're gonna fucking flip.
Yeah, like you're probably going to have a lot of like abuse cases in situations like that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, would you rather have that or them dying on the streets?
No, I agree. It's why
22. You just gotta make the tough call.
In cases where it is like like fentanyl, ketamine, like shit like that, like meth, like anything that's like a really hard drug that you get like super addicted to that completely debilitates your life. Shit like that is where I think like a forced rehab would probably be like the best way to handle it. As fucked up as it is, I mean, I can't really think of like another way.
It's a necessary evil.
Yeah. If you can't save yourself, at least let the government, the body that's supposed to protect its people, save you. That should be like the safeguard. That's how I feel about it.
But it's probably the other thing too is a lot of people probably don't trust the government to do stuff like that.
I mean,
either.
right now we can't. I mean, right now we've just talked. We had this whole episode about it. It's like there's a lot of like reasons why
I don't know if I trust the government to like be benevolent enough right now to like.
But you can trust
the
social workers who would work there.
You can, but
True.
I don't know.
True. But if they get shitty funding, they can only do so much.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the bad part of it.
If it's shitty funding, it's probably going to be shitty people working there, unfortunately,
too. Going to take that job. Yeah. The better social workers are going to get the better paying job.
Exactly. So
that's how competition works.
Yeah. It's like very unfortunate. Like there's lots of issues in our country, but there's not really a best way to tackle them for
besides
most of them.
banning lobbying at the congressional level, actually.
That would absolutely help a lot of it. I can say that too, but I mean...
Because imagine actually having to think for yourself.
But businesses, they have a First Amendment right.
No, they don't.
That's the reason for lobbying, actually.
Is that really like what their reasoning is?
Yep. They tried to limit lobbying, and then they fought back against it, saying it's a violation of the First Amendment. And the Supreme Court said that was justified, and that's why we have lobbyists who can do that.
That's interesting.
The Supreme Court needs to look at where a company is a person and a person is a company, because I don't think I'm...
Yeah, so that change would have to be at the Supreme Court level now, because of what do you call it?
Just the way it's all set up. Yeah.
There
would have to be a specific case that comes up to make it happen. Yeah.
Precedents. That's why.
Yeah.
There's a precedent now.
Damn.
Yeah.
GG's.
Unfortunate. Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
America's doomed.
Buy our stocks. Buy Scat stocks now.
Scat
We're not
stocks.
a public traded company.
We are not and will not ever be a publicly traded company.
We buy gold. You can buy gold bars off of us.
Buy gold bars. Make sure to invest in Alfonso bucks.
Yeah.
Call back to episode 2.
Yes, 3. Exactly 2. But yeah, other than that, is there anything that y'all wanted to add?
No,
for this conversation.
We've accomplished a lot today. I feel pretty
Shout
satisfied.
out to Cellraise.
America.
The easiest way to make money online. Have something you no longer use? Simply take a photo and their AI will help you generate a listing on all of your favorite marketplaces such as eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, and more. They made selling so easy, your mom can do it. Your mom, my mom, your mom out there.
You know who
your
else
friend's
uses
mom.
Cellraise?
My mother.
Yeah, get your mom to try out Cellraise. She can sell her like purse or I don't know.
So her
fake
OnlyFans
Yeezys on there.
Yeah.
OnlyFans?
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I'll have to contact the boys at Cellraise. But, you can check them out at cellraise.com. That's SELLRAZE.com.
Yes, sir. All right. Also, be sure to check out the YouTube channel, the Scatcast YouTube channel.
We have videos now.
I know. It's crazy. We actually have videos going up.
3 months.
I know. It's crazy. But, I mean, check it out over there if if you're listening and everything. Go ahead and knock that all out. Other than that, episodes every week. Thank you for listening. We'll be back on Wednesday at 5 a.m. But yeah.
Catch y'all
And
later.
please catch us on TikTok at scat.clips and Instagram, scat.cast, where you can message us questions and stuff about the podcast, like feedback. And if you want to leave feedback, please leave a review. We'd appreciate it. We need more reviews.
If you think we're goofy, tell us we're goofy.
Yeah.
If you think,
But
Here's the catch, guys. You have to give us a 5-star review.
If
it's
you
not
want
a
to be an
5-star
investor in Alfonso Bucks, you have to give us 5 stars.
I will also accept a 3-star review where you take off 2 stars because of Alfonso. That's also
I don't support what John said.
yeah, that's perfectly
Based.
fine with me. I mean,
Based.
it also works out just fine. I mean, don't worry about it. Don't listen to him. He needs the criticism. I'll say not we. He needs the criticism. It's okay.
You can leave criticism. Just put it on a 5-star review.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
I hate Alfonso. 5 stars.
5 stars. I hate Alfonso. Okay, that's great. All right.
All right. See you.
All right.
Later.
We'll see you.